Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about... Can't make this shit up. I said yesterday we weren't going to cover it. I said I'm done talking about it, but little did I know, an hour and a half after I got done with my stream, that the literal studio would shut down after I said yesterday morning that I hope they shut down. So we're going to talk about Fantastic, and the day before, we're going to watch a video of Upper Echelon talking about it. We're going to read some articles about it. We're going to look at some tweets and stuff. That's what's happening. Okay, and this is what happened. If you guys missed it yesterday, this was yesterday's show around 10:50, 11 o'clock in the morning. This is what I said. Again, false advertisement is false advertisement. They could be sued for this, I'll be honest with you. But it doesn't really matter. What are you going to get from a company that has nothing? So I hope that this company, in my opinion, doesn't make any more games after this. I hope the company goes under. I hope the people that are developers, I don't care if it's one person, I don't care if it's two people, I don't care if it's 12 people, the people that keep making these games for this company and keep not supporting the games that keep coming out, they're just trying to make a quick buck and move on. Do something else with your time. And I'm saying that to the customers. Anything that comes out from this company, or if you find out that the person that works for this company moves over to another company, because that's probably what they'll do. They'll probably scrub the name of this company, make a new company, and then try to sell you off on something else they come out with. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. And that's what I said yesterday. Okay. And then shortly after that, Fantastic comes out with this. Okay. They come out with this, okay? Now, look, I'm a tiny, tiny little spot on the internet. I have my little following here, what you guys come and watch. Nobody knows who the hell I am. But those of you that are here, you know that I predict a lot of shit. Now, I knew they were going to go under. I just didn't think it was going to be an hour and a half after I said it, okay? So... it says, today we announced the closure of Fantastic Studios. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. Let me tell you something in life, okay? In life, it doesn't matter if you're, buying a car, starting a business, just trying to pay your bills. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit that all this that you're paying off your debt, you are scammers. You are scumbags, okay? I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. I said it a year ago. I said that this game is scammy. There's something wrong with this game. We don't know what it is, and we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And boy, 4 days later, boy, did it drop. Let's continue here. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man-hours into development of Day Before, which is our first huge game, and we really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue to work. Oh, boo-hoo. I can't pay my bills. I can't buy this new brand new car. I can't do this. Nobody cares. Make a game, sell a game. That's it. That's it. Right? I turn on my stream every single day. I make a stream. People come watch the stream. If they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. I'm still going to do what I'm doing. Okay? It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the Day Before. There was no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. What do you want a round of applause? That you didn't pre-order and get crowdfunding? You mean you didn't make a game? Like, what the hell are we talking about? This is the most incompetent bunch of morons I've ever seen in my entire life. It says at the moment, the future of the Day Before, prop night is unknown. Oh no, they're trying to scare you. Oh, those of you that blindly love the other games that we made, we don't know what's going to happen to the Day Before. We don't know what happens to prop night. It's unknown. I can tell you what's going to happen. But the servers will remain operational. Sure. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. You didn't meet your expectations, let alone our expectations. Our expectations were set by you. You showed stuff and you set the expectations. Hence why you were the most wish-listed game for the last, 5 years on Steam. Okay? But unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. You think so? You think so? Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. No shit. So is life. So is making a stream. So is fixing a car. So is building a house, right? Shit happens. Hold that thought for a second, okay? So they started commenting, okay? They started commenting, and Fantastic on Twitter says, answer to those who ask for a refund, Maitana, okay? We are currently working with Steam to allow refunds for any player who chooses to request one, regardless of game time. Fantastic receives $0 and will receive nothing from the day before sales. That's right, because you're a bunch of scammers. You're snake oil salesmen, you're scammers. Here's what someone says underneath. Okay, it says, unbelievable that you guys hyped this game up so much, and this is the end result. You guys are absolute disgrace to the video game industry. That's correct. That's correct. And what they say was, this is the official account. Okay? This was our first big experience. Shit happens. Shit happens. Chat, I can't make this shit up. We need some festival holiday music. What's going on, Tony? What's going on, Kylo? What's going on, Travis? Gaming Fire. Eclipse, Kylo, Dave Rose. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Sorry, I was so into it this morning. I'm so into it. We're gonna go over more. At least they admitted it, they suck. I mean, I guess that's the a good virtual thing for them. Okay. Okay. It's great that the refund went through. We wish you all the best. Sure. This is what happened. They tried to pull one. In what world did you get money to make a game that you had volunteers make a game for you? Okay. Sure. You didn't take any upfront money from us. Where did you do? Where did you make money from? What did you do to make this game? Who did you swindle? Investors? Somebody gave you money to make this game. Maybe even your employer. Maybe you have a second job and you were working at McDonald's, and then every little cent that you made from McDonald's you put in towards this game. You stole McDonald's money. That's a joke. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, who did they take the money from? 5 years. 5 years. Like this shit pisses me off. Okay? And I'm glad a lot of people in the industry, content creators and people. Now, there are content creators that played the game for monetary value, to get people to watch them, to make money off it. It doesn't matter. They played it so you didn't have to. Okay? They bought it, got a refund, and played it and made content of it. I wouldn't do that. I don't do reviews. Okay? But I do read a lot of articles, and I do watch a lot of videos, and I do play a lot of video games and played video games over my 40. I'm 45. Okay? I've been playing since I was 3 years old. That's not an exaggeration. Since I was 3 years old, I was playing Atari. Or actually, I think it was the, I forget what the other one. It wasn't Coleco. Sarge is in chat. He'll let me know, right? But I was 3. Sitting in my dad's lap, playing the bowling game. That's what I remember. The tennis game, the bowling game, and stuff like that. Okay? Now, obviously, my first real system was the Super NES that I played, and I loved when Mario came out and stuff, right? Odyssey. Thank you, Sarge. Okay? I like games. I know a lot about games. I can see, I can smell. I know when something doesn't seem right, right? As many of you do, because you've also been playing games, okay? My whole point, okay? My whole point of this channel, that's always been about this channel, is to give information, have conversations with people, and you could like a game. You could like a shitty game. You could like a shitty game, okay? when certain games come out and we're like, be careful, don't pre-order this. Don't pre-order this, right? And you couldn't pre-order this particular game, but we were getting hyped up for it. And at some point, they were going to pre-order, right? At one point, they said it was going to be a free-to-play game, but then they decided they're not going to take money up front. And they're like, oh, we'll do it for the alpha test or the tech test, whatever's coming out. Early access. Sorry, it doesn't really matter. Alpha, beta, tech test, preview, whatever. It's all the same now. Even full launch is the same, okay? These people are trying to take advantage of the system. I've warned and said that the Unreal Engine is a really cool system, okay? Lots of people are going to be able to make games, okay? But there's always those people that are going to take advantage and be like, hey, you see how easy it was? This guy made 1 million copies sold at $40 a pop. That's $40 million. We could make a game, right? Yeah, we just take assets and do it, right? It happens all the time. Happens all the time, right? I'm just trying to not tell you how to spend your money. I'm trying to save you money. I'm trying to help you, right? I want you to spend your money, but I want you to spend your money on things that you actually will like or think you would like, not stuff like this, right? What's going on, Lurker? Tried playing it and wanted to like it in the beginning, but the game just didn't let you like it. It wasn't a game. It wasn't a game. It completely changed from what it was, right? So here's what I love best, right? We were just talking about jokes. Right, we were talking about jokes just yesterday about Christopher Judge, okay, making the Call of Duty joke, okay? And I want you to look at, where is it? Here it is, right? This is the DayZ team. Now, these are developers making fun of developers. Well, until they're not developers, right? So DayZ comes out with the exact same, this is Fantastic's apology letter. And this is DayZ's mocking of the apology letter, okay? Today, I want primarily to celebrate, for no reason at all, the remarkable 10th anniversary of DayZ. It's with the immense gratitude and comment of dedicated passion and creativity of unwavering support of the incredible community. In this milestone moment, we're delighted to announce the thriving success of DayZ, of our groundbreaking MMO experience that has captivated audiences worldwide. This open-world survival masterpiece enriches with years of dedication and truly flourished into gaming marvel. Throughout the years, we're proud to boundless efforts and resources of man-hours into development of DayZ, from the immersive open-world design, adrenaline-pumping survival elements. Every aspect has been meticulously crafted to provide unparalleled gaming experience. The journey began in 2013 with the release of Early Access in DayZ, followed by the release of 1.0 update in 2018, and the subsequent release of the DLC in 2019. We express our deepest gratitude to an amazing community that has been with us every step of the way, and our unwavering support has made this incredible journey possible, and we look forward to many more years of adventure exploration, camaraderie, and expansive world of DayZ. And look, they put, thank you for all the extraordinary games, right? And their last 5 games that they worked on, okay? Now, what Christopher Judd did, according to journalists and everything, is, ooh, bad joke. Meanwhile, DayZ, and I'm okay with both of these. I think these are both fantastic. I love the Christopher Judd joke at the Video Game Awards last week, okay? And I love that DayZ literally just did this to mock the developers, or the people that thought they were developers, okay? That they came out with the exact same, okay, to mock them, okay? Now, there's no difference, people. There's no difference between what Christopher Judd did as a actor in the Video Game Awards, okay, that's part of the industry making fun of fellow developers, okay, and what DayZ just did to Fantastic, who were developers until about 24 hours ago, okay? But I think it's very, very telling, because I would love to see articles now of people making DayZ going, well, the developers of DayZ, this is not cool. This is not cool, okay? Because you're a bunch of morons, journalists, who wrote articles about Christopher Judd making fun of developers of Call of Duty who told you it was a joke. And apparently you don't know what jokes are. This is also a joke, just to let you know, okay? So I find it really, really hilarious that all of this is transpiring in the last, 24 hours, okay? The amount of comments that the tweet is getting, okay? The tweet has been seen almost, well, over 500,000 times, okay? They're answering they're answering everything, right? They're coming back, okay, and they're commenting to a lot of people's things, which is also bad because that's what Bethesda was doing for bad reviews as well, right? Lurker says every single journalist that said Christopher Judd is disgusting has an article from last year making fun of his speech. Fuck all the way off. Heartfelt. Exactly, Lurker. Atlante says, I think it's more of where they make their jokes. What was on an award ceremony, others were made on Twitter. Doesn't matter. See, that's the difference, Atlante. A joke is a joke. And the one on the Video Game Awards show was a brilliant joke done at perfect timing. Because all the planets had to align. Because if Call of Duty didn't come out, 2 weeks before? Then there was no joke. And that is why the joke worked. Because the campaign came out and the game was short. That's not a lie. Right? And I'm not saying anything to you, right? But that's why it works. Jokes work. I said this yesterday. If Chris Rock came on the stage and made that joke, it wouldn't land as much. Because the context of the joke was that he was self-deprecating. He made fun of himself with the long speech. If Chris Rock came out there, okay, and made a joke and said, oh, it's as long as the Call of Duty campaign, it wouldn't have hit. But it hit because it was Christopher Judd with the long speech and the short campaign. It was beautiful. Exactly, Lurker. Anyone saying it was wrong needs to do the world a favor and just go live alone somewhere in the mountains. Right? We're gonna watch a video. Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of videos out there. More people going in more depth and whatnot. I want to be more entertained and have conversation, right? So you can go into the more in-depth videos out there talking about this. But the day before has now been removed off Steam. Okay? They've now been removed off Steam. And on top of that, they're going back, okay, deleting videos off of their YouTube channel, okay? And not only are they deleting videos off their YouTube channel because of false advertisement of saying it was an MMO, okay, survival game, they're deleting videos, and on top of that, they're going back to their other games and then changing the publisher and the developer of it. So it doesn't say Fantastic anymore, okay? If this is not signs of, I don't know, really scummy business practices, I don't know what it is, okay? And here's the thing. No matter what happens, this will be a blink of an eye, okay? This will be a blink of an eye. People will forget about this. This will be a joke, okay, at the next Video Game Awards, okay? Because, God damn it, I wish this happened 4 days before the Video Game Awards show, because then Christopher Judd could have came out, and instead of making the joke towards the Call of Duty, would have been like, man, that speech was longer than the day before's game release, right? That would have been just as good. That would have been just as good. Eclipse says, I know I already complained about this, but screw this YouTube UI. If I wanted to be on mobile, I would be on mobile. I don't know what you're talking about with the... Is it... You know what? It's because I'm not watching... I don't watch live. What are you seeing on the... Let me go to my live channel. What does it look like mobile now? What's mobile about it? Like, I don't... We're in like Inception here. What is mobile about it? We're going down the tunnel. It's just gonna keep going in endless. Let's see if I can do this. Ready? Click on the chat box. Add emotes. Okay. Show support. I mean, I don't see it. Like, I don't know what. It might be the React heart. Okay. PC, tablet, and phone are all different, where you can get the chat, etc. Yeah, but he said on PC. He said his PC looks like mobile now. I just don't know what. It looks fine to me, but I don't watch my own stream, so. So I want to watch Upper Echelon's video. Okay, he's much more articulate than I am. Okay, I like watching it. He does sort of like investigative type of stuff. Okay, check out Upper Echelon. If you guys don't know who Upper Echelon is, well, I'd be very surprised. If you know who I am, and I only have 1,600 subscribers, and he's got 673,000 subscribers, so I would think you would see him more somewhere in your feeds or whatnot. So let's take a look at Upper Echelon's video of the day before.
All right, I didn't anticipate doing a follow-up video this quickly, but the developers behind The Day Before just shut down completely, so here I am. This game is an enigma. From the very beginning, it looked too good to be true, but with an industry that's relatively malnourished when it comes to high-quality zombie survival games, people basically wanted it to be true so badly that they fell right into the trap.
That's a good point, right? We want something so bad that, and I talk about this all the time, right? We want to blindly love or blindly hate something. Like people that love something, other people are going to shit on it just as much, right? But the hype of this video, every time we look at something, we're like, I don't know. We'll see. Sarge and I, for the last 3-4 years, whatever it was, okay? Actually, it was like 2-3 years, okay? We said, we'll see. We'll see.
For anyone who doesn't know, which is likely a lot of people, I suspect, The Day Before was one of the most wishlisted games on all of Steam, at least for a time. It was purportedly in development for over 5 years, supposedly. It was advertised as an open-world survival MMO, and it was mired in scandal because every time they were about to release a trailer or a gameplay session...
There's no way this game was in development for 5 years. No way. No way. Maybe you had the concept 5 years ago. Maybe you wanted to make it 5 years ago. Maybe you took a pen to paper and said, this is what the game is 5 years ago, but you did not work on the game for 5 years.
Or something like that. It would get delayed, canceled, pushed back, or worse yet, it would turn out to be an actual bait and switch, kind of like the game itself. The developers, or rather the marketers or the decision makers.
I mean, look at this. Look at the I'm gonna rewind, right? This is what the game was supposed to look like.
At least for a time. It was purportedly in development for over 5 years, supposedly. It was advertised as an open-world survival MMO, and it was mired in scandal because every time they were about to release a trailer or a gameplay session or something like that, it would get delayed, canceled, pushed back, or worse yet, it would turn out to be an actual bait and switch, kind of like the game itself.
And this is the actual
developers,
game.
Or rather the marketers or the decision makers, I guess is probably the best way to phrase it, engaged in some of the most disingenuous marketing I've ever seen, leading the world.
And that's the major problem that I have, okay? That's the major problem I have with Fantastic and what they've done with this game over the last 2 years, okay? They marketed it, okay? They marketed it as a MMO. Zombie survival MMO. That's not what it was, okay? If I tell you this is a gameplay stream and I'm doing nothing but talking, that's false advertisement, okay? Now, obviously, I didn't take money from you to make it happen. They are, okay? they're literally taking money from you to play the game. This happens with early pre-orders to get that early 3-day access. This happens with alphas and betas, closed betas, all this stuff that happens, right? This is the worst case scenario that happened. But other companies, don't be fooled. Redfall, pretty damn close to what this is. Okay? Came out broke, buggy, unfinished. Battlefield 2042, broke, buggy, unfinished. The only difference between what those games are doing and this is an independent developer. Those are AAA developers, and they can survive fucking up like that. Okay? Especially when you're games like Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red, where you sell 8 million copies before day one.
World to speculate that the game wasn't even real. But in early December, on the 7th to be precise, a product did launch, a product that is in fact a video game, contrary to what some might say, leading to a realization that yes, they did make something, but also no, this was not the something that they had promised. Still, that being said, tens of thousands of concurrent players tuned in, tried to get into the servers, experienced the game, and it was catapulted to the #1 viewership slot on all of Twitch with ease, because even when the entire gaming world basically knew that the scam was a scam, they were so desperate for it not to be a scam that they went ahead and pretended it wasn't. Hell, even I was deluding myself into a sliver of hope that they might actually stick with the game this time. They never stuck with anything else that they previously...
And that's the funny part. You hear what he said? He was even delusional, thinking that they were going to support the game, right? And they've never stuck with anything else before. So why, right? A pig with lipstick is still a pig.
Released, ever. So I guess I feel like an idiot for even holding on to that sliver in the first place. But yeah, the market was primed, the interest was there, and people so desperately wanted it to be true, they chose to believe it even when all existing evidence was pointing towards the inevitable truth, which is that this game was an elaborate and painfully transparent marketing scam right from the get-go. Let me just read a couple of statements right now, verbatim, so that people can understand just how blatant the chain of events actually is right here. On December 4th, 3 days before a planned early access release window for the day before, developer Fantastic posted a statement on social media reading, quote, "To a person who didn't believe in us, we made this game for you, too. We accept any kind of criticism and don't hold a grudge against you. Before we continue moving forward together, kindly allow us to note a few things. Please forgive
This is freaking hilarious, by the way. I'll let him continue.
us for not doing the best marketing and teasers. We learn something new and improve ourselves every single day."
Look, they are trying as a human reaction. They're trying. They're scum. First off, these two guys, I think it is for the actual company, are scumbags. They try to pull one past the gamers, and congratulations, round of applause to the gamers, because the majority of us knew this was a scam from the very start. Hopefully, the people that bought this game, that weren't streamers, that weren't content creators, that were doing this for monetary value and for their channel and whatnot, okay? People that bought this because they were truly interested in this game and thought what it was, learned their lesson and said, I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to be more educated now, looking at games and not being so hyped when a game comes out. Maybe, but I doubt it, because Upper Echelon just said himself, he was fooled. 5 times before this, or 4 times before this, they never completed a game, but this time would be different. This is the same. This is like when you're in a bad relationship, okay? And some of you have maybe been in a bad relationship, and maybe some of you haven't been in a bad relationship, or maybe some of you will never be in a bad relationship, but these are the signs of a bad relationship, okay? If someone does something, and they continue to do it, and you're like, no, they'll change. No, they don't. They'll do the exact same thing, but he loves me. He loves me, but they care for me. No, it's the same. It's a bad relationship. Get the F out.
Please don't accuse us of scamming. That's not true. We didn't take a penny from anyone. Please don't accuse us of asset flip. That's not true also. Our team worked day and night for 5 years to make our dream game a reality.
You see what they're saying there? Please excuse us as we asset flipped. That's not true also. Our team worked day and night for 5 years. For 5 years. For 5 years. Can you just put a little bit of, you put change in there? Can you put a little money in there, please? 5 years. Please. I have underwear older than you.
Please don't underestimate our work. It wasn't easy. We are like you. We worked hard, and we're incredibly happy that our game will finally see the light of day for everyone to explore. End quote. Wow, heartfelt, honest, transparent, except no, not in the slightest, because precisely 1 week later, 4 days after the game had actually launched and capitalized on the hype window of its initial release, the developers released this statement, quote, "Today we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. It's important to note..."
When they say they don't have the funding, this is what I'm confused about. In normal business, now, please, anyone that is a developer in channel, or you're watching this after the fact, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? If I'm a developer, I'm just a peon. I'm just a worker. I show up, I either get a salary or I get a paycheck every week, blah, 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 okay? Product's done. If I'm an investor and I own the company, I'm like, hey, I need, let's say, $1 million. I need $1 million because I'm budgeting. This is what happens when you budget. I have $1 million. I have 5 employees. We're working 5 years. These are the salaries of the things we need. This is what we need to make the game. Okay. So the game is covered. Okay. So you have the time frame that you need to work it. You have the money to pay your employees. And now they're like, well, we just gotta shut the doors. We just didn't make the money. What do you mean? I don't understand. Who's their accountant? Is Bungie their accountant? Who's working with their money? I don't understand. And the money that they get from Steam, and Steam takes their percentage. BattleBit Remastered, which is a game made by 2 guys. Okay, three people, I think, with the music guy. Okay. When they released their game, okay, they had open conversations with everyone and said, we haven't made a dime yet because they hold our money for 30 days or 45 days or whatever it was, okay, because they haven't made. So they made all the money, but they haven't been paid yet. Sort of like this. Like whatever I make now off tips and donations and subscriptions and ad revenue and all this stuff, I have to wait 30 days before I get paid, okay? It's actually like, I think 40 days, okay? So I made the money, but it doesn't come to my pocket, right? So if I screw someone over or something happens, someone can refund that money, okay? So Steam right now, it's only been 5 days. It's been 5 days, okay? They made the money. Steam has that money. Steam sees what's happening and says, yeah, this is unprecedented. We're just going to give all the money back because that money hasn't gone there yet, right? They scammed. They scammed people. So for them to say, well, we haven't made the money and we can't afford to continue working, what kind of budgeting did you do? It's amazing. Monkey with the typewriter. What's going on, Mo? They have over 5,000 shovelware games coming out on out a day. Steam is just a supplier. They're the middleman, though. They're the middleman, though. What's going on, Robert Jones? They're changing all the devs' names and all the games they made, deleting everything. Yeah, I know. We said that, Mo.
Note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. At the moment, the future of the day before and Prop Night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power.
That's what I love. What I already stated before, right? We apologize we didn't meet your expectations. Our expectations were set by you. If I go up to my wife and be like, oh, I can't wait. Tonight, I'm going to take you out to the best steak dinner restaurant. I'm going to wine and dine you, and boy, you're going to love it. And then we get in the car and I drive to McDonald's. And then she's like, I thought you were taking us to a steak restaurant. No, I was just taking you. I think your expectations were a little high there. Like, what? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Sorry, we didn't meet your expectations. Your expectations were set by you.
But unfortunately, we miscalculated.
Yeah, a McRib is basically a steak. Yeah.
Our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. End quote. What the actual fuck? You didn't.
That's right, Upper Echelon. What the actual fuck?
Didn't take money from players for pre-orders, but you told the entire world that you would be releasing an open world MMO, massive multiplayer online game, and then released something else completely. After that, 4 days after that, mind you, you shut down the entire studio after taking people's money, and 1 week before you shut down the studio, you were...
So I have a question. 4 days prior, did they know their game didn't work? Or did they find out their game didn't work because people played it? Truly, I want to know. Did they think, they're like, ha, we're going to sell this game. We're going to make so much money. It's going to be so great. Hey, everything good? Yeah. Yeah, servers are up. Everything's ready to go. We got it on Steam. High five. Right? And then they're like, did anyone check if the game worked? What? Oh, I already hit live. Oh, shit. Did we check the game if it worked? No? It won't. Don't worry. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
We're telling everyone to please not accuse you of scamming. Really, truly, this is one for the gaming history books. Look at this. This is what they were showing 2 years ago, and this is what they started selling 4 days before liquidating their entire company. By the way, they didn't just shut down the company. They also nuked the Discord server.
Yeah. Destroyed their Discord server. Delete. Boop. But the internet doesn't forget.
Removed a bunch of the falsified...
Like Pepperidge Farm. They remember.
...tags that the game used to have on Steam. They even nuked the website, like the developer Fantastic website, which has also been taken down and replaced with their statement only. And prior to that, they had consistently tried to get certain aspects of their marketing taken down or deleted because they had lied in that content and made claims that simply did not apply to the game itself. None of this makes any sense. 4 days after the largest cash infusion that they're ever going to get, they say, oh no, we can't afford to keep going, gotta pay back the investors.
That's the best part. They got the biggest cash infusion, and they're like, we can't afford it. So how much did they... You know what I think is going to happen? I think the people that invested in this, I hope they didn't do a deal with like a mobster, because their kneecaps are about to be broke.
And then disappear. Yeah, that's a fucking lie. See, I have friends who work in publishing, like video game publishing. I've gotten to know a lot of people over the years that understand the landscape of investment in the industry and video games, etc. And even without that knowledge, it's painfully obvious that the chain of events on display here doesn't make sense. Investors don't provide just enough working capital for the game to be developed and then force liquidate everything.
You hear what he's saying? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And if it does happen like that, the person you're in business with is shady as fuck as you. Right? They're worse than you in being shadiness.
4 days after launch, when the title garnered almost 40,000 concurrent players and was topping all of the different leaderboards on various platforms. At $40 a pop with estimated sales.
Okay. Look at what that number says at the back. Now, I don't know if it's official. Okay. But it says that they copies sold. 351,000 sold. 351,000. Over 250,000 copies sold. Okay, revenue $12.6 million.
Easily in the hundreds of thousands. That's like without question. The developers are currently harvesting millions of dollars from the game release, and the investors do not disrupt that by torpedoing the developer's public reputation, or their future for that matter, and making them announce a full-scale studio shutdown 4 days after launch. It does not happen. Except what makes this even more depressingly hilarious is that the company relied on what they called a culture of volunteering, where unpaid workers would.
I worked for studios. I've worked for some studios that do unpaid internships, but they work, and I went on and had my career in the film industry. Started with an unpaid internship with a company that did documentaries and stuff for MTV. Okay, worked 3 months unpaid and got every job I ever got after that, making the connections and whatnot. I've also worked on jobs that someone's like, "Hey, I got this script for this horror film," right? And of course, I know that it's not going to cut out, but I got paid. Okay, but I knew it was shady. I knew the movie would never leave, but I don't care because I'm just getting my paycheck for doing the job that I want. Okay, but I know that company's going to go under based on the project or what it is.
Would be largely contributing to the development of the game, which requires the question.
These people are volunteers. They got shit. This is a life lesson right here for some of these volunteers, right?
How then were the bills so high that they forced liquidate 4 days after a very successful launch window?
If anyone ever comes up to you, anyone, for any, can I do some artwork? Can you get me some artwork? And I'll pay you when I make sales. No. Take your money up front. Right? Hey, I got this commercial deal. I got this movie idea, but it's we can't afford to pay you anything. Nope. Good luck to you. Have a good one. It's not worth your time.
To pay back investors. Really? What's going on, guys? Yeah, they pulled that video down as well. Basically everything they can find. They've begun scrubbing the internet of everything they possibly can. But there's links out there.
Oh, it's good for a resume builder. It'll look good on your resume.
There's archives. The evidence exists. And reality is a cruel mistress because she relentlessly remembers when you make promises that aren't true to millions of people over the span of years and then walk away with all the cash. Another funny thing is that they go out of their way, like deliberately out of their way, to say don't accuse us of asset flip. But they absolutely did purchase Unreal Engine asset packs and then use them as the foundation for the bulk of the world. I'm not saying that the entire map is a flipped asset right out of the box, because that's definitely not the case, but enough of the buildings and cars and structures.
Oh no, it came out. It came out that all of them, the whole thing, asset flip.
Are to a point where they're absolutely, this did not take 5 years. And if it did, it just didn't. So, moot point. Breaking news, by the way, while I wrote the script for this video right now, they deleted their LinkedIn page. They are going...
That's normal. Deleting everything off the internet.
Going full cut and run right now, this very moment. This will genuinely become one of those like, hey, remember that game type situations for years to come? Because this is a historic example of just how obvious it can get when a developer decides, you know what? Let's just rip everybody off and lie about it. To be fair, I do actually believe that there were some talented developers working on this project.
Sure. I'm sure there was a guy who was volunteering that wants to be a good creative developer, okay, that was talented. There's a lot of talented people on a lot of sports teams that are on shitty sports teams. Just saying.
After the failed release window, or maybe it was 2 days or 48 hours, whatever, a patch came out which actually significantly helped the netcode, response time, and server infrastructure. There is a foundation here of what could potentially have been a fun experience, and I'm sure a number of workers and volunteers put blood, sweat, and tears into crafting it. There is a grain of truth to that statement. But they never stood a chance, because the decision makers at the company have quite obviously decided that they want to cut bait, turn, and walk away with the cash after overpromising, blatantly lying, and under-delivering.
Travis, you can't make a joke like that. You don't watch sports ball.
That's honestly a pretty severe understatement, but you get the idea. In my opinion, the game was always intended to be a ripoff, but the secret sauce was how popular it got based off the viral hype of their initial vertical slice demo, which was very obviously just not real at the time. No one expected that, at least that's my guess, which resulted in them double dipping and getting actual investment capital as well as farming the community for launch day.
That's exactly what they were doing. Double dipping. Investment and getting money from the... You know what? A lot of other companies do this, but people don't care because they're AAA companies that do this. This is where they get the we're not charging anything. They got the microtransactions. They got the battle pass. They got the early access. You got to pay for early, preview program, right? They double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip. Looking at you, Bungie. Looking at you.
Scores, or whatever you want to call it, their payday at launch. Partway through, somewhere down the line, they realized, oh dear Lord, we actually have to have some sort of game here.
I'm just saying your joke didn't land because anyone that knows you, Travis, knows you don't like sports balls, so it doesn't come across very good. Example again, if Chris Rock came on stage and made that Call of Duty joke, it wouldn't land because, one, he's not a gamer. Two, he didn't make a long speech. It just didn't land very well. Work on your material a little bit.
And they cobbled something together as fast as they could, resulting in what we see here in front of us now, using a bunch of volunteers so they could get something out there, have everyone purchase it, and then they could walk away. Yeah, they didn't do pre-orders or crowdfunding, but they had you all purchase it, and then they force liquidated the studio. So yeah, I'm getting a refund, you should get a refund, everybody should get a refund. The investors, if they even existed in the first place, probably won't get paid back. Why else would they nuke every single social media page and fragment of information?
No, this is what I think. This is what I think happened. I think the investors, they signed a deal, and because they're getting screwed, they're losing the money. They lost their money. Those are the only people that lost money in the investment. But that's anything. You invest in a video game, you invest in a movie. Investors going in know that they might not make their money from it. Okay.
Information about their company off of the web. Even legitimate bankruptcies don't do that. They don't just purge all the information they can find all at once while saying, bye-bye, we're never coming back, and then pasting that everywhere. They engage in a protracted...
The video is making me nauseous because of the stuttering.
...cycle where things are accounted for, divided up, etc., etc. So, yeah, it's a scam. It's a historic scam that a lot of people saw coming, and yet there was a pretty hefty number of people out there hurling insults and trying to defend this game as if that would somehow make...
If you're defending this game, here's reality check. If you're defending this game, you got to look in a mirror and know that you are the reason that games like this exist. If you're defending a game like this, you are the problem. You can like it. Just know that you're the problem.
Make a difference. I do hope that all of those righteous defenders take a moment and contemplate how fucking foolish they are. I'm not saying everyone had to scream about the game on social media or criticize the developers and openly call it a scam day in and day out. Like, that's not my point. But the idea that these people would go around to various different channels, on YouTube especially, trying to denigrate and ridicule the game's critics, pretending that those critics weren't making completely valid arguments pretty much every single time. Well, look at yourself in the mirror because you have clown paint on and you're an idiot.
That's exactly right. You have clown paint on and you're an idiot.
It's okay. The world's going to keep on spinning and you'll get over it pretty fast, knowing the type of person that you probably are. But to all the defenders of the day before, you are all, collectively as one, today's honorary dumbass.
That's right. I'm so glad he said that. That's right. If you defend this, you are a dumbass.
This one will go down in history as one of the fastest, most obvious, and yet still somehow most disappointing scams in gaming, because, I'll say it again, this thing actually had potential. It could have been fun. Some kind of well-executed mashup where The Division meets PUBG meets Escape from Tarkov. Sign me up for that, okay? It sounds genuinely cool. But unfortunately, it just wasn't the day before, and it's never going to be because the developers liquidated the studio. That's it. If you want to support their link...
Okay. I want to show you... Okay, one of you guys said it yesterday, and I don't know who it was, so apologies for who said it, okay? But I want to show you this, okay? And this is me not to get you hyped up for anything, okay? This is me not getting you hyped up for anything, but here's a game that is a open world survival MMO, okay? And it's called Once Human, okay? We're watching... particularly Royal, his gameplay, okay? And this is a thing that was not advertised, wasn't the #1 wish list game on the planet, okay? This is an actual playable game right now, okay? An actual game that's being played right now. People are enjoying it, okay? It's in early access, I believe, right? I don't even think it's out yet, okay? And they didn't do what these guys did, right? The game's out. I believe it's free to play, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is, in all purposes, the exact same type of game that they said was supposed to happen. It's an open beta right now. There you go, Eclipse. Thank you. Okay. Now, it's a PvPvE type of world, more focused towards PvE, but there's PvP opt-in for PvP. Okay. And that's what this, right? Let's look at more. Okay. You don't see people coming out and saying asset flips or anything like this, at least of yet. Okay. 9 months ago, they showed trailers and whatnot. People forgot about it. But I think that this game is going to go to the stratosphere now, because people that were interested in the day before now will come across this game and give it a shot. And the difference between that and this, okay, is that you don't have to pay $40. Okay. Let me go to the Steam real fast and look at it real fast so we can let me go to Steam. And it's called Once Human. Once Human is open right now, so it's an open beta right now. I don't know how you can get in. Add to wish list, maybe. Add to wish list, get notified when it becomes available. Yeah. So I don't even think you can get in, but right now they're in the testing phases or whatnot, and people are playing it, and you can do your research, right? You can do your research and find out if it's something that you like. Okay. Maybe you get hyped for it. Okay. But the point is, there's ways to do certain things. There's a hierarchy to stuff. You can't run before you crawl. Okay. This company, fantastic, tried to do something that they shouldn't have done. They bit off too much that they could chew. They started running before they could crawl, right? Like, there's all of these analogies that you can give. But at the end of the day, they're just snake oil salesmen. There are people that give bad names. Now, you know, on my channel, I talk about all the time. I talk about the alpha, beta, early access, gold that's still broke, buggy, unfinished. Okay. But there's a difference. There's a difference in what this company did and what other companies are doing. And all I ask is that if you're interested in the game, instead of blindly throwing money at a company, because blindly throwing money at a company gives them the power to make the next game to take advantage of something. If it's broke, why fix it? Okay? If it's incomplete, why complete it? Okay? They don't have to do it because they made all the money. Okay? Even as much as you guys love CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077, you say it's the greatest game ever to come out. Okay? When it launched 3 years ago, they promised you something that it wasn't. Till this day, they still haven't implemented all the stuff that they told you was going to be in the game at launch. Okay? Phantom Liberty could be a fantastic game. You could love the actual game, but you have to know that the game was broke, buggy, and unfinished, and they fixed it 3 years later, and it's still not a complete game. But they don't have to complete it now because they made 8 million sales before the game came out. They made another 5 million sales after that. They made an additional 10 million sales 3 years after, okay? And they don't have to. They can take their sweet, sweet time. They can go on to the next project. They can go on to do whatever. They never have to actually finish the game that they told you that was going to be there at day one. They don't. Go on, Al. Well, you were saying earlier that McDonald's opened up a new restaurant. See, I never understood that stance that you just said, Travis, where you said that you bought it because you're not a cheapskate. If a company provides you with a copy of the same game, $70 or $10 a month, why is the person that's paying $10 a month a cheapskate and not a smart consumer? Microsoft already paid Remnant's developer to put it on there. And I'm just doing my job by playing the game off the actual thing. Because they're saying it's only worth $10, and I don't agree. I mean, perception of what price is what it is. You could disagree if you don't think it's $10. For instance, Pandora to me is not worth $70. You paid more than that. Okay? I don't even want to pay the $14.99 for the month. Am I a cheapskate? No. My money and the time that I have is the equation. Factor in X. That's right, Akuta Baba. The people that are cheapskates are millionaires and billionaires, and the people that are not cheapskates are broke. That's the difference. That's the difference. See, to say someone's a cheapskate because they want to spend $10, they could take that $60 that they were going to spend on that money, on that game, they could put it in a bank, or they can invest it in something else, and that $60 could be making more money for them. Call me a cheapskate all you want. While you're working, making your $60 at your hourly job, I'm taking the $60 that I would have spent on that game, and I invest it in something else that's making money for me. But hey, everyone does your own thing. Oh, I want to show you guys. I like having receipts. Okay. I like having receipts. I posted in our Discord yesterday, but I did this back in January. This will be the last thing we talk on this topic. Okay. Let me mute that. This is me on January 25th. This is before the day before got delayed from November to December by the 1 month. Okay. It's coming out. You know what? You know when it's going to come out, Water? I know when it's going to come out. Are you ready for this? Come November. Okay, this is going to be one of my come November or right before November, they're going to delay it again. And they're going to say they're going to want to release all of them at the same time. They're going to be working on the console and PC versions, and they want them to all release at the same time. And then it'll come out. So they're going to need another 9 months for that. So by 2024 sometime, and then right before it releases in 2024, they'll say, well, we want to make sure it's running full 60 frames per second. So we're going to have to delay it. Let's go. So now what happened? This was January 25th. Just before November, they came out and said that they're delaying it from November to December. And in an article, they did say that they were going to put it out in early access And then within 6 months, they were going to try to get it out on consoles and stuff all at the same time and release it at official launch, however long that takes. Well, now we know it's never going to happen because the game is goodbye. The company is goodbye. And I've never been so happy before in my entire life, right? That's one win for consumers of an actual shitty company trying to take advantage of people, and it didn't work. So congratulations to you out there that didn't fall for it or is getting your money back. Everyone can get their money back. Make sure you're not an asshole about it. Just contact Steam or Valve or whatever. Go through the channels, get your money back. They'll give you your money back. This is unprecedented. This is a company that's literally shutting the doors down 4 days after. You'll get your money back. Just don't be an absolute prick about it. All right. Speaking of, I came across this. This came on my feed. It's a YouTuber called the Kingerd. Okay, Kingerd. Okay, he had a video that I saw that I watched 2 minutes of, and I went, you know what? I don't want to watch this. I want to watch this with stream. Okay. These are 5 reminders of why not to pre-order games. Now, those of you that know me, I talk about it all the time. Again, I'm not telling you how to spend your money. I'm telling you the reasons why not to spend your money on pre-orders and whatnot. And he's got a video here that we're going to watch.
Gaming showcases. It can be easy to get so excited about an upcoming release. You may find yourself...
Hold on one second. Sorry.
With this year's gaming showcases, it can be easy to get so excited about an upcoming release, you may find yourself slapping some hard-earned dollars down in anticipation. Pre-orders, early accesses, subscriptions. Whether or not players should spend money on a game before its release has been a subject of debate for a long time. What will it be like at launch? What will I get if I pre-order? To help fight the rapidly spreading disease that is the release now, fix later philosophy, let's look back in history to 5 different reminders of why you should
hold on a second longer
and wait until after a game's release to spend your money.
And look, when I heard him say this, I literally watched maybe another 30 seconds, and I was like, I gotta watch this, right? My whole channel is based on, look, you could spend your money, right? As Mo says, chew your own food, right? Chew your own food, right? I don't want to tell you how to chew your food or eat your food, okay? You can spend your money how you want to spend your money. All I do, okay, is that when a game comes out, instead of giving up the $90, $150, $200, $250 for the pre-bonus extension edition, gold edition, whatever edition that you're going to get, and then it comes out and it's broke, buggy, unfinished, mixed bag of whatever, okay, all you had to do was wait 1 day. 1 day. Sometimes you don't have to wait a day. You can wait the day, okay? Because reviews come out usually before the launch day. And with all the information that you have at your fingertips, between if it's my channel or someone else's channel, news articles, whatever, okay, you can make the choice and go, hey, this is a game that I think I'm interested in, and I've heard enough, and I'm going to buy it. But if you give your money up front to a company, there's no reason for them to fix it. You might look at it and say, well, they appreciate me. They like us. See, we're listening, and they're going to fix their game. In no other industry would you buy something and then wait 3 years for it to fix. No other industry. There's not one other industry that you would purchase something and go, it's okay, I'll get it back in 3 years, right? It's ridiculous.
Starting off our timeline, Sega started a 7-year hype train when it acquired the license to develop games based on the Alien franchise in 2006. Their game, Alien Colonial Marines, was officially announced in Game Informer magazine in 2008. Gearbox promised tense encounters, just like the movies, where the aliens would stalk you and your Marine buddies. It was gonna put clever girls everywhere to shame. I still remember being so excited by the pictures, I could not wait to blast bugs with my pulse rifle. Gearbox also shared a gameplay demo for the game that again promised sophisticated artificial intelligence
Aliens can climb on the ceilings and the walls. It's all driven by sophisticated artificial intelligence.
Environmental detail and lighting effects that all contributed to the feeling of isolation while fighting.
Now, I can say for certain that this person was hyped. Kingard was excited because he probably loves Aliens. This is an IP. This is why they make games like this. They make the IP because you're more interested in the IP than the actual game itself, and you're like, oh, man, I can't wait to play this game. You get excited, right?
Off hordes of xenomorphs. Prior to its 2013 release, players could pre-order the game, purchase a season pass that would unlock future DLC automatically.
Travis, that comment literally proves that otherwise. I'm just saying. You might as well stop while you're ahead.
Or pay $99 for a collector's.
Right. So you got your alien colonial marines, and you got the regular $60. You got the season pass for $30, and you have the $99.99. But you get that statue, and that's what people are buying. You're buying the statue, not the actual game and what it is. But that's where they get you, right?
Edition that included a figurine and some extra content in the game. Because of a review embargo, video game journalists were not allowed to publish reviews of the game prior to the day of release. One day before Aliens Colonial Marines was released, cryptic tweets began to arise from various game reviewers that would...
You're just saying that your side with someone who's been on your channel longer? Nah. I'm not like you've always done that. I'm pretty sure Dolphin came in after you. I'm pretty sure. But hey, what do I know?
Say things like, a day before release isn't too late to cancel a pre-order, without directly naming the game itself. But approximately 5 seconds of modest Google...
But facts. Who cares about facts? Right? Travis doesn't care about facts. Why should anybody care about facts? Let's just say shit. Let's just say shit.
Research would give any curious George the hint that they were talking about the Aliens game. This is the earliest memory I have before a game's release where I was thinking,
there's a storm coming, Ari. We'd all best be ready when she does.
Well, we wanted bugs, and by God, Gearbox made sure we got bugs. On the day of release, Aliens Colonial Marines was met with universal criticism pointed at the game's glitches, terrible AI that just rushed at the player instead of acting like...
This game looks good. This game looked good back then, huh?
The xenomorphs from the films, and visuals nowhere nearly as polished as the E3 demo. The game was so broken, and unlike what was presented, a class action lawsuit was filed against Sega and Gearbox that alleged false advertisement. Years later, when Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford was asked about the state of Aliens Colonial Marines, he denied there being an issue with the graphics.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the graphics. What are you guys looking at? There's nothing wrong with the graphics.
Said he did not regret the experience, and compared people who didn't like the game to sadists with less sophisticated thinking.
Excellent. Amazing. That always wins people over, doesn't it?
It's too bad the $99 version of the game didn't come with a free pass from getting called a sadist.
Oh, here we go. Number 2, No Man's Sky.
If you want to sink more time into the rabbit hole that is No Man's Sky's release, go check out Internet Historian's video on it. I'll put a link in the description. No Man's Sky, developed by Hello Games and published by Sony, was revealed in 2013 as a game which promised interstellar travel, spaceship battles, and...
Thanks for becoming a member. Mo, thank you very much for the 10 months. I think it's going to read itself, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I think it reads itself. Or is that only for super chats? I don't even know. We'll wait a second. No? All right. Just let folks know, Blade is exclusive. Also, you're a Fortniter now, sir. And they also were playing the hell out of the main stage. Keep up the great work. I tried out the main stage thing last night with the harmonics thing, whatever, the beat thing. It's actually pretty good. I was playing on keyboard. I want to go back to controller for that. And then I kind of want to bust out the Guitar Hero. Does that work? Can I plug in my guitar and use the Guitar Hero?
Exploration of a
Thanks for the 10 months, Mo. Thanks for the 10 months.
procedurally created galaxy. Interviews with Hello Games co-founder Sean Murray only amped up the anticipation as several features were stated to be in the game, such as multiplayer, well, sort of, or at least the possibility of running into other players.
Can you run into other people, other players on the game?
Yes, but the chances of that are incredibly rare.
I love when Sean's like, yeah, but the chances of that are incredibly, difficult. Okay? And yet, literally the day one, 2 people met up on the internet and said, go to this planet in this quadrant and let's see if we can see each other, and they couldn't do it. I love it. Hold on, let's hear him again.
Run into other people, other players on the game.
Yes, but the chances of that are incredibly rare. Just because.
Incredibly rare. Day one. Dave Rose says it's okay if you can have Blade. It made by Arcane, and they hate all their games. Besides, I already did Fighting Vampire game and saw how they turned out. See, this is the action. Mo says something because he's an Xbot, and Dave is a PlayStation guy, so he's got to give the feedback towards it, right? But if Blade was on PlayStation, you would be like, "This is the greatest game ever."
The size possibility.
And a variety of immersion mechanics, including landing on asteroids or being able to play the game as a space pirate. It was a big deal.
There was a video I watched. Was it Saturday night? I think it was Saturday night. Oh no, it's Alex on his live stream brought up a content creator. I don't know the person's name. And live on stream, he was watching the video game award show and watched the Blade trailer. Okay? And this dude was hyped up. He's like, "Oh, Blade, baby." He was so excited that Blade, and he didn't read the bottom that it was Bethesda, and he didn't read the bottom that it was probably going to be an Xbox exclusive. It didn't say it on the Video Game Award show. But then he found out in real time that it was going to probably be an Xbox exclusive, and he went from loving and hyping it up, talking shit to Xbox, to then talking shit about Xbox. Because he went from it was the greatest game ever created to it's stupid. Well, we have Spider-Man anyway. Like, you guys have to stop. You guys have to stop. Like, the coping is unreal.
For a game with an indie developer to get this much attention before release, and boy did the suits milk every drop they could from that hype peak. Before release, No Man's Sky could be pre-ordered in its standard edition at $59.99, limited edition for $79.99, or an exclusive edition.
And that's true. Okay, Baba. This was exclusive on PlayStation. They funded this game. They helped make this game. They gave them money to make this game. And not until after the contract expired, which I think was 2 years. Okay? It was 2 years exclusive. Did they work on the game, and that's when Sean Murray came out and actually started fixing the game. So it says something there.
At $149.99, No Man's Sky released to a collective sigh of disappointment. This wasn't so much a case of a broken launch, although there were plenty of bugs, but more so an astounding leap between player expectations and what...
Man, I love the fact that when you look at games like this, when it comes out, and we all forget this, we're all like, "Oh no, it's a good game."
The game actually was at release. The procedurally generated galaxy was considered to feel repetitive, as each planet appeared to recycle similar assets and biomes, and a metric boatload of features stated to be in the game.
Oh, Travis, you're so your information is so bad. Sony literally pushed it out. Sony had rights and they wanted the game out. It wasn't ready, and Sony pushed it out. And then Hello Games was quiet for literally 2 years before they came out and said, we're still providing content for this game after the contract ended with Sony. So stop. Your comments like that show that you're just a Sony fanboy instead of just listening to the actual facts.
Prior to its release, were nowhere to be found, including being able to find other players within the galaxy. Hello Games and Sony's response to the backlash started out as bouts of silence, until Hello Games posted some blog posts saying they were listening and focusing on fan feedback. Sony's president of Worldwide Studios threw Hello Games under the bus by saying they did not have a good PR strategy. And then in 2018, 2 whole years.
Let me read that. I understand some of the criticism, especially Hello Games founder Sean Murray is getting, because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one, he said. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person helping him. In the end, it was the indie developer, but he says their plan to continue developing No Man's Sky features as such, and I'm looking forward to continue to play the game.
Not have a good PR strategy. And then in 2018, 2 whole years after the game came out,
Travis, I'll let you live in your alternate universe. That's fine. You can live in your alternate universe.
Hello Games posted an open letter finally acknowledging that some mistakes had been made during the game's development and
the literal message, 2 years from when they launched, when the contract ended with Sony, is when they came out and started improving the game. Do you think that's coincidence?
right after release, especially dealing with responses to fan feedback. No Man's Sky has gone down in the history books as a game that has taken a complete 180 and is actually quite good now, considering all of the free DLC and patches. No Man's Sky is a perfect example of the marshmallow test.
A test of your reflexes!
This is a test where
Oh, is this a test where if they don't eat it, they get more marshmallows?
a kid is given 1 marshmallow and told, if you wait, I will come back with a second marshmallow and you can have 2.
Oh, most kids are eating that marshmallow.
Some kids just go ahead and eat the first marshmallow. Some of them actually wait and get 2. In this case,
I'm surprised any kid waited.
No Man's Sky at launch is that first marshmallow. And by gosh, did some players pay to eat that 1 marshmallow. No matter when you bought No Man's Sky, I think we can all agree that the guy who spent $1,300
Oh, I forgot about that guy. That dude's an idiot. I'm sorry. That dude's an idiot.
on an early leaked copy of the game.
That makes
Damien.
tonight's
I like the editing.
big loser.
After the lukewarm reception to EA's 2015 Star
Oh boy, Star Wars, here we come.
Wars Battlefront game, with its lack of a campaign and original trilogy-only content, Star Wars fans, including yours truly, were hyped to see the trailer for its sequel, Battlefront 2, announce it would have a single-player campaign along with characters and locations from all 3 eras of Star Wars films in its multiplayer. It seemed to be a dream come true for people like me who weren't exactly into the more recent releases.
See, Travis, that's where you're taking the stance of blind love, right? And I'm with you. Blind love, okay? I love Star Wars. They can do no wrong, okay? But when you actually listen to the facts that actually happened, okay, this is where it comes in that you have to admit that there was problems.
Of Star Wars games. If you wanted to play the beta before launch, you had to pre-order the game. Let me
I hate that.
repeat that. If you wanted to play a trial version of the game to see if it was something you like, you would have had to have already purchased the game. I know it isn't completely uncommon to
You're not engaging with the conversation, Travis. You're saying that the game is not bad. That's not what he's talking about. The video is about pre-orders and how when the game launches, it's in bad state. Sure, the game is good now, but you're not engaging with the actual conversation the man is having on the video and what I'm having. You're like, no, it's a good game. It's not that bad. I don't know what people are complaining about. He's telling you.
offer this as a pre-order incentive nowadays. After all, developers use betas for the purpose of testing game mechanics to make sure the game is ready at launch. But I think most players would agree that we use betas to get a taste of an upcoming game that we may or may not want to buy. It's like a trial or a demo. Buying a game to access the beta, to me, is like having to pay full price for an ice cream cone
Right.
up front if you want to use the little taste test spoon at your local ice cream shop.
You didn't say please.
It just feels off to me. I don't
It
know.
is off.
Before release, players could pre-order the game in its standard edition for $60, the Elite Trooper Deluxe Edition that included some cosmetics and early upgrades to characters for $80, and we're not even going to get into how many different retailer-specific versions there were.
There were so many. Yeah, there was so many different for different retailers, Target, Walmart, all of them.
Both the beta
Best
and
Buy.
pre-release, Star Wars Battlefront 2 caused an uproar in both the video game community and the legal world.
Holy Jesus. What is that?
Character abilities could only be unlocked through loot boxes based on random outcomes. Hero characters took an egregious amount of in-game credits to individually unlock, and players could buy credits with real money in return for random in-game advantages or hero characters.
Like
With real money,
$2,100 to unlock everything. I know someone's going to put in chat, well, that's optional.
in return for random in-game advantages or hero characters. Through this system, EA committed two cardinal sins. One, they
I like this guy's editing style.
put game-altering advantages in a random reward system, and two, they allowed players to pay
Travis says, to be honest, 30, without the microtransactions, which I'll admit was stupid, was the core gameplay bad? No, it wasn't bad because if people bought the microtransactions, it was both the developer and the player. No, it was bad because the core gameplay was to unlock the other characters. That was part of the core gameplay. It made it grindy on purpose to make you spend money. So no, I can't be honest and tell you that the microtransactions, like the core gameplay was bad because the core gameplay was based off microtransactions. Hence why they shut it off and had to refigure stuff.
pay real money to win these advantages. But surely the loot boxes didn't get in the way of players' enjoyment of the game, right?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
For Battlefront 2,
Read that target. Read that article right there, right? The heading. Star Wars Battlefront 2 falls short of sales target. Loot boxes blamed. Right? They did that. They chose to do that. They chose to put microtransactions in. They wanted to make the sales, and they wanted to make the money with the microtransactions. Instead, we said, fuck you. We'll buy the game, but we're not paying for your microtransactions.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
For Battlefront 2, developer response to negative feedback actually had both legal implications and set a world record. Backlash to this both random and pay-to-win progression system was so bad that DICE and EA temporarily disabled microtransactions at the game's release entirely, in response to a Reddit post that voiced frustration over Darth Vader's hero.
Yeah, that's normal. The game was fine. They literally shut down the microtransactions. Okay? Paid $80 to have Darth Vader unlocked.
Hero character requiring an estimated 40 hours of playing to unlock, EA gave the now infamous remark that hero characters are difficult to unlock because they wanted players to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Yeah. The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at an average per player credit earn rate on a daily basis, and we're making consistent adjustments to ensure the players have challenges that are compelling rewards and, of course, attainable via gameplay. You know what the most gameplay is right now? This game is more popular now than it ever was when it came out. And why is that? Because there's no fucking with the game. There's no changing of the things. It's just go play the game. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. Make a game, sell a game.
Accomplishment when they got one. That Reddit response set a Guinness World Record for most Reddit downvotes on a single post ever.
683,000 downvotes
in 2019. Because of Battlefront 2, lawmakers in different countries, including Belgium and the United States, started to crack down on loot boxes in video games, comparing them to online casinos and accusing them of both allowing and teaching children to gamble.
This game is a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending money.
Fine, though. Fine. Nothing was wrong with this game. It just literally changed the whole landscape of gaming.
A trap.
The whole fiasco and its bad press cost EA about $3 billion in stock value.
$3 billion. How much did CD Projekt Red lose in value? About the same, right?
In 1 month.
Say what?
Similar to the story of No Man's Sky, Battlefront 2 has made a huge comeback over the years, with heaps of free content, scaling back of monetization, and cementing itself as the modern multiplayer Star Wars game.
Right now, it's a great game. Great game. After they took out all the other stuff.
If you like Star Wars, it really is worth a play.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, now. Not in 2017. Not in 2018. When they stopped supporting it, after they put everything in the game and getting it now, it's like they made a game and they sold a game. But 3 years after it launched, okay? 3 years after it launched, and they stopped supporting it, now it's a good game to play. Because they stopped fucking with it.
Some people paid over $100 for the game that dang near started a worldwide revolution against loot boxes. Although a good chunk of the Fallout fanbase was disappointed by Bethesda's announcement that Fallout 76 would be an online multiplayer live service game, there were still plenty of people excited to get to experience the world of Fallout with friends. Wait a second. What is... Oh, yeah, I mean...
Here's another one. Now, I played the beta. And I said, no, this game is not ready to come out, right? Then I had a mod that gave me the game for free and was like, you need to play it on stream, right? And I said, okay. And I put in 82 hours. 82 hours into Fallout 76, and I had little glitches. I didn't have the same thing that everyone else was having the problems with, okay? And I enjoyed myself. But knowing that the game was a fucking scumbag move because they were charging for servers and they were charging for game that now it's on Game Pass, right? But when it came out, okay, it wasn't worth a penny. It wasn't worth a penny.
I guess we could go ahead and mention...
In a minute!
Okay, alright, Fallout 76. Despite the news that the game would not feature any NPCs, a prominent feature in previous Fallout games, people still had faith. I mean, this is Bethesda we're talking about here, right? Skyrim, anyone? Before release, players could pre-order the base game at $59.99, the Tricentennial Edition for $80, or the monster of a purchase called the Power Edition for a whopping $200, which included a map of the game world, figurines, base...
The canvas bag. This is where it all went downhill for Bethesda, not the game. Fallout 76 was the start of it, but the canvas bag is what broke the industry.
Based on some in-game models, a wearable power armor helmet, and what was marketed as a Canvas West Tech duffel bag. Very quickly, customers of the Power Edition began to voice complaints that the bag they received looked...
The game wasn't the biggest criticism, right? The game wasn't the biggest criticism. People didn't care that the game was broke, buggy, unfinished, 16 times the detail, and all this other stuff. They cared about the $200 canvas bag that they purchased that was not canvas. Oh my God. This is what broke the internet.
Nothing like what was advertised. Instead of a durable canvas bag, it was a flimsy bag made of nylon. When questioned about this, Bethesda customer support rather bluntly stated that the bag was changed to nylon because they were cheaper to...
Yeah. They just made it because it was cheaper than nylon, right? Oops, someone forgot to change nylon bag. You think they would have sold as many? I think they would have sold just as much as long as it said nylon and not canvas.
Produce. In the spirit of pumping out products that were expensive and nothing like what was advertised, Fallout 76 was released to near universal criticism, plagued with bugs, glitches, and hackers that could flat out steal another player's stash of items.
Now again, I played the game. I had no issues. Still thought it was a piece of shit game. Okay? I had fun. But the facts still stand that the game was broke, buggy, unfinished. Okay? And they didn't have to fix it. They didn't have to. But they're like, microtransactions, so they kept supporting it. right? Now you could go, well, if we didn't buy the game, will they still support it? No, they would have shut it down, just like Marvel's Avengers. Just like Anthem. It would go way of the dodo.
Poor functionality of the game was a consistent gripe among players and reviewers. The icing on the cake, however, is that while the game was in such a broken state, Bethesda had the audacity to keep its in-game store up and running with cosmetic items that were so expensive the price of a couple of outfits was comparable to the entire season pass of the...
I say this all the time. They work 5 years to make a game. They charge $60 at the time. And yet, 4 outfits is the same as a full-fledged game. So, wide open map, quest lines, dialogue, 5 years of thousands of people working on the game, and then 4 outfits is the same price as a video game.
The previous game in the series, Fallout 4, twisting that monetization knife into the kneecaps of Fallout players everywhere. Bethesda announced they would finally add a slew of player-requested features. Oh boy, fast travel, more storage space for crafting items, private servers, and more affordable cosmetic items. And all you had to do was...
Yeah, all you had to do was pay more money.
Subscribe to something? Oh, I'm sure they just want your email or something like that. I mean, I doubt it costs money.
Oh my god!
I don't have to say anything there.
Bethesda, quick! Your game is broken and players are demanding more content. What is your response? Tell them to give us more money? As is the trend...
That's right. That's right. See, I have no allegiance. I have no allegiance with a plastic box. Okay? I have no allegiance. I play games that I like. I don't play games that I don't like. Okay? I have fun with games. Right? I make fun of other games. Okay? This is just hilarious. Hey, game's broken, buggy. What do we do? Well, why don't we just charge more? Right? Because the small percentage really likes our game, so we can get another $12.99 out of them. You know what? Let's give it to them for $100 because that'll be less than that, and they'll give it to us. You think so, Todd? Oh, I know so.
Trend for this list, the game was improved over the following years. Bugs got patched, NPCs and storylines were added to the game, and hey, even the pre-orders got their canvas bags. Bethesda even gave us a developer apology we can add to our wall of shame.
That's right. Add it to the wall.
But one can't help but wonder, how long after a game's release should someone who spent $200, or heck, even in this case, the base $60, have to wait until they feel like they got a finished product?
They should wait 0 time. 0 time. You paid your hard-earned money. That game, as advertised, should be not broke, not buggy, not glitchy, right? It should work day one. I know. I'm weird thinking that way. Imagine someone buying food and it actually being cooked when you purchased it.
If all the criticism and backlash makes you feel bad for Bethesda, don't worry. They're still in the video game business. They've got some game with very little hype, and not a lot of people have heard about it coming out this year. I think it's, what's it called?
This video, by the way, was made before Starfield came out 5 months ago.
Oh, who am I kidding? Starfield looks awesome. I mean, it's Bethesda. They make great games. You know, what would be the harm?
Yeah, Eclipse, you can still pay for Fallout 1. Yep. And I think they're going to implement that in Starfield.
And getting this one early, I'm sure Fallout 76 was just a, pre-order bonus. I could just pay a little bit extra. And... BioWare made a splash at the 2017 E3 conference with gameplay footage from their upcoming RPG, Anthem. It had all of us saying,
I'd get to fly around like Iron Man.
With the developer behind the
Anthem. Man, Anthem. What can you say about Anthem? 7 years in development. 13 months actually after they figured out what they wanted to make. So you subtract 13 from the from the 7 years.
Critically acclaimed Mass Effect and Dragon Age series.
Yes, that's me. I'm over here.
Boasting stunning visuals and cooperative play, players had a lot to be excited about. It was clear the game was targeted at the looter-shooter crowd that were playing the likes of Destiny, but at the time, players, especially BioWare fans, were eager to see how the
That wasn't in the game. That wasn't in the game.
developer with a track record of making immersive, narrative-driven games.
You've overstepped. No Christmas.
We don't talk about those two. We're going to perform when diving into the online cooperative multiplayer scene. Surely a game with
These weren't in the game at launch either.
this good of a presentation will be a smash hit, right? Side note, a personal red flag of mine is when a game presentation includes scripted player dialogue.
Yeah, it's always cringy when this happens.
Bam, looking good. Nice, you've got a mortar equipped.
Yeah, I got it on the weekend.
Oh, man. Like foreshadowing.
It is one big pile of shit.
Players could pre-order Anthem at the base price of $60 or the Legion of Dawn edition at $80, both of which included VIP access to the pre-launch demo and some in-game cosmetics. Gotta pay for that demo playtime, guys. What do you think this is, a charity? In case anyone forgot that BioWare's parent company is EA, we were all reminded of that at Anthem's launch. EA launched a broken game.
Oh, yes, of course. How very, very awful. Wait.
I like the editing style that he does. I like the editing style.
Let me do that one more time. Give me the line again. Quickly, while it's fresh in my mind.
EA launched a broken game? A disorganized
That's about right. That's about right. This is
game?
That is the look that the companies actually give you. Okay? They're like, what? Your game is broke? Oh, we'll get right to it. Oh, was the mic still on? Oh, yeah, we'll fix it.
A disorganized development process gifted players with a game drowning in game-breaking bugs. But even worse, it became apparent that no one, not even the developers, had a complete vision for what Anthem was supposed to be. While the basic concept of flying around in suits with your friends was still a unique one, the game felt like an Oreo without the stuffing. If you're one
I don't like that. Oreo without the stuffing? Just a fucking regular cookie. Why are you getting Oreos then?
of those people out there that eats Oreos
Just weird.
like that.
Stop it.
Wait, what did he say?
Oreo without the stuffing. If you're one of those people out there that eats Oreos like that,
Stop it. Get some help.
sure we could
I like your editing style. I like your editing style, Kinger.
fly around together.
I don't know if he's editing it or someone else is editing it, but I like the editing.
But what were we supposed to do after beating the narratively unimpressive campaign? The first few minutes of flying was neat, but the missions were outright boring. The power scaling was broken enough to where lower-leveled weapons could be more powerful than higher-leveled ones. The loot in this looter-shooter wasn't significant enough to bother grinding.
They didn't even have all the guns in the game. In a looter-shooter, they didn't even have the guns. They didn't have all the guns. If you were a Colossus, you could not get a legendary weapon because they didn't make it yet. Like, what are we talking about?
And significant pieces of endgame content were delayed. When both the top of
his in the description down below, Travis, it should be in the description down below. I have his channel there. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I put it in there. Yeah.
The mountain is boring, and the climb to get there is boring. Why take?
Unlike other people in the industry, I give credit where I'm using stuff.
The journey at all.
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
Oh my god, did she gargle with glass? I met her when she was younger. She's a nice girl. Well, was at the time anyway. She might still be nice, but
it's boring. Why take the journey at all?
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways. The journey is usually the part that you remember. Journey is usually the part that you remember.
Oh god, the journey is the part you remember anyways. I gotta rewind this again.
That you remember anyways. The journey is usually the part that you remember. Journey is usually the part that you remember anyway.
Oddly enough, a common
That's like Destiny's. That's like Destiny's. It's not the game. It's the friends you made along the way.
Criticism of Anthem's in-game store wasn't just focused on prices of items, it was that there wasn't enough stuff on sale at any given time. It felt like BioWare was trying to
Buyerware.
There wasn't enough stuff on sale at any given time. It felt like Buyerware was trying to artificially increase player retention by minimizing what was in its store too much. If people are complaining there's not enough microtransactions at any given time in your live service game, something's wrong. Updates and communication from BioWare.
Listen to what he said there.
Time in your live service game, something's wrong.
If they're complaining there's not enough microtransactions, there's something wrong.
Updates and communication from BioWare slowed to near silence, but eventually the developer announced they were working on an overhaul to the game that would be dubbed Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0. Then later announced those...
Yeah. Because they looked at it and said, not enough people are coming back after we made the first announcement. Okay? Because if you looked at it, October 29th, 2020, Anthem 2.0 update revealed. And then February 24th, they looked at it and said, okay, because this is what happened. They put it on sale. They said, we're coming out with 2.0. They put it on sale for the holidays. The holidays came and went. No one gave a shit. No one gave a shit. And good. Okay? And then it came around. They went, yeah, we're canceling it because it's not worth our time because nobody cares about the game that we created. And it was broke, buggy, unfinished. And we were going to continue supporting it, but because you're showing no interest in it, we decided to close shop. Imagine that. Why would they fix a game if they already got your money up front? I don't know.
Plans were canceled. The Anthem reboot cancellation serves as an apology letter for us to add.
There's an apology letter. Add it to the board.
To our wall. I bought this game for $10 on sale a couple of years after release, and honestly, I got bored after a couple hours. Too bad I didn't buy it for $80, so I could have a couple extra skins to go with my boredom. If you glance at the title of this video...
What do you mean? Did the same thing years later with Wild Hearts. Didn't Wild Hearts just come out this year? Like this year, didn't it? Oh, you're saying same thing years later. Gotcha. Yeah.
What you won't see is never be excited about a game ever again. There's nothing wrong with being excited about an upcoming release.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with being excited about an upcoming release. He's absolutely right about that. Okay? That's not the problem. Our excitement about a game is not the problem. It's the execution on their part that gets you excited. And then it doesn't show up.
Feels good to have hype around an upcoming game.
I see where Mo's going here. And then they dropped it. Game Pass. Oh, you're saying, and they dropped it. I thought you were talking about Wild Hearts. They're talking about Wild Hearts, Mo. I thought that was a perfect opportunity. And then they dropped it. Pause. A Game Pass.
Throwing money at video game developers based on nothing but trust or just seeing a good presentation.
What do you mean, Farmer? Just like Marvel's Avengers? Yeah, Marvel's Avengers. People stopped playing it, stopped supporting it, didn't buy microtransactions, so they decided to stop making it.
Or a good pre-order bonus is exactly what put modern gaming in the state that it's in right now. If a game's functionality at launch were never in question, I don't think pre-ordering would be an issue at all, but here we are. Why pay for that extra pre-order bonus cosmetic if the game ends up being so bad you don't even end up playing it for more than 5 minutes? We all need to stop buying into the idea that we'll just wait it out and the developers will make the game better. You deserve better.
I like the point he's making here. Right?
Why pay for that extra pre-order bonus cosmetic if the game ends up being so bad you...
Right. Why pay for the pre-order bonus if the game is not going to be around 6 months from now?
Don't even end up playing it for...
No one plays it.
More than 5 minutes.
Especially on a multiplayer game like Avengers. Right? Games are fun. I give this example all the time, right? You can go to a shitty bar or a restaurant with your friends, and you can have a blast, okay? Because you're with your buds. right? But if your friends don't go to that bar anymore and you show up there because you think you're going to have a good time, you're like, yeah, it's not the same. That's what happens with multiplayer games, right? They sell you a bill of goods that it's going to be this awesome game, but then they don't make a game and sell a game. They make a partial game and then want you to spend your money up front and wait for the rest of the game with microtransactions and all this other stuff. And you're like, I'm having fun. But as soon as other people stop playing the game, the momentum starts to dwindle. And once it starts to dwindle, then you're like, I don't want to play this game anymore. It's not fun anymore because I don't have my friends that are playing it anymore.
We all need to stop buying into the idea that we'll just wait it out and the developers will make the game better. You deserve better the day that you give them your money.
Now, here's where I circumvent the problem with that. My motto is I play games for the story. Okay? So regardless if it's multiplayer, regardless if it's cross-play, regardless if it's anything, right? I'm doing it with Suicide Squads. I'm interested in Suicide Squads. The game could be absolute shit. I don't care about the looter-shooter aspect of it as far as the live service aspect. I'm interested in the game. I'm going to purchase the game. I'm not going to pre-order the game. I'm going to purchase it on day one, right? Because on day one is already 3 days after or whatever it is. I guess 3 days early access. I guess I have to do it, right? Because I'm a content creator or whatnot. The point is, I'm playing it for the story, okay? I'm playing it for the story because that's what I feel is worth my time. The aftermath of Suicide Squads, if they support it, cool. I'll come back and play it like I do the Division 3, like I do any other game that I'm interested in, right? Minecraft, any kind of game they update, No Man's Sky, I'll go back, Sea of Thieves, I'll go back and check it out. But I'm not going to sit there and wait. Okay, I put my money into the game, I get what I want out of the game, and then I move on.
And that includes even just for microtransactions. I'm looking at you, free-to-play games.
Travis says Marvel's Avengers back when people played it, I'm guessing was really fun. The problem is a lot of people didn't play it. And the matchmaking was so broke and buggy, it was really hard to get in with matchmaking without the game crashing, Travis. So playing with your friends wasn't really that fun.
I get it! You wouldn't pay a plumber after they tell you how good of a job they're going to do fixing your sink. You pay them after they've fixed your sink.
Beautiful. Beautiful analogy there, right?
The job they're going to do.
You don't pay the plumber
Fixing your sink
until after
you pay them after they've
fixed the problem.
Sink. Let's stop rewarding developers for giving a good presentation or having good marketing. Instead, let's reward them when they release a good product.
Here you go. Having already outlined the massive development budget, the report also says that some AAA publishers spent over $500 million on marketing, which could put Call of Duty pre-launch exposure near $1 billion, right? And then they take that cost and they put it over to you. And if you don't pay enough microtransactions, and they're like, oh, we just can't support the game anymore. Didn't make potential sales.
If this video does well, and you guys let me know in the comments.
I like this video, and he's got a part 2. Okay? Okay? He's got a part 2, and I kind of want to watch it. Okay? I like this video. I like his channel. I'm going to subscribe to him. Give him a thumbs up. I like it. I like the way he edited it. I like how he stays calm, right? Unlike me, where I'm very animated and whatnot. I get very vocal, very loud. I like how he stays calm and just tells it how it is, right? So let's watch part 2. Part 2. That's the Kingard. His channel info is down in the description. He's got 22,000 subscribers. That video has 1.8 million views in 5 months. Like, good for him, man. Good for him. I wanna see something real fast. He makes Jesus Christ, 1.8 million. Some of his videos do really well. 22,000. Good for him. All right, let's watch part 2, shall we?
Before we jump in, I'd like to address a few.
Also, they make sure that you can't play it either. Let them shut down them server things. Yeah. Well, here's the problem with Suicide Squads, right? Suicide Squads in fine print, Quintar, literally says they can stop supporting the game at any time. Like, okay. Which wouldn't be a bad thing if they just said, hey, you can play all of this offline. Which they said they're going to try to do after launch. But again, it's not at launch. That's the biggest red flag. Not playing on, always being online, right? Yeah. But they make up for it. See, they're doing something different than what Marvel's Avengers did. Marvel's Avengers, we said from the shouting from the rooftops, okay? Needs to be crossplay. Needs to be crossplay. Needs to be crossplay. They couldn't do it. That would have saved the game if it was crossplay. If I could play with anybody across anything, right? Then they fixed it, but it was too late, right? It was too late. They are doing crossplay from the start. They're doing crossplay from the start. All right, so let's watch this second part. That was a good video. That was a good video. Hard passing on Suicide Squad. Like the idea, but not thanks anymore to always online. Here's the thing, and this is the main point I want to make sure comes across, right? Is that the whole point about these videos that we're watching and what I've always talked about on my channel is that pre-orders, like Mo said he's going to pre-order always, okay? And that's cool, okay? But pre-orders for a lot of these games is why it comes out broke buggy, because there's no repercussions from a company, okay? That if it comes out broken buggy, they're like, oh, we're listening, and you have to wait 18 months. You got to wait 24 months for it to fix, and that is the problem, right? If you don't pre-order, right? If you don't pre-order, meaning you buy it day one. With the industry now, you get early access. You can see people playing the game before it comes out. So if you still want to pre-order, but you don't pre-order before day one, because on the day you can still pre-order and then get the benefits of whatever it is on day one. And there's been reviews already. There's people playing it early access. You can save yourself so much money and time putting into that game by just waiting the day. If you get pre-orders ahead of time, if I make $1 million 6 months before on pre-orders, and I'm like, hey, everyone, we already hit our goal. Stop working, cuts cost, move people to other things. They made their money, and they just give out the bare minimum. And they're like, we hear you. We'll just fix it over time, right? Here's the patch. Here's a quality of life. Here's the thing. All of this should be in the game at launch.
Before we jump in, I'd like to address a few people who got a little upset at the premise of my last video. In response to the...
Yeah, here's that. You see what that guy commented?
People who got a little...
I'll do whatever I want, thank you very much. And that's not the point. He's just giving you information. And if you're offended, this is the same people that get protective and defensive when a guy makes a joke and everyone else is offended by it. Nothing happens. Nothing happens if you're offended. It's all in your head. Okay? So I'll continue to pre-order games because I know what kind of games I like and don't like. I almost never hate games I pre-order than Cyberpunk 2077. The patches have only made it better. It's only my favorite game of all time. Maybe instead of saying never pre-order, instead say do you what the fuck you want with your money. Listen, you could do whatever the fuck you want with your money, but you have to know that the game that you bought was not the best product at launch. Those are facts. You can spend the money that you want to spend, knowing though that you defending a game at launch when it's broke, buggy, and unfinished, that's not the best product. And yet you paid your money for the best product and you have to wait years to get your money's, what you paid for years later.
A little upset at the premise of my last video. In response to these people who think I'm like,
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriffsstein, das war ein Befehl!
Please allow me to retort. My primary goal in making these videos is not to disrupt your power fantasy.
Right.
Hey, you're just a little kid. Aren't you the cutest thing? Oh my goodness.
My main goal with this channel is just to entertain. I mean, 2 weeks ago I had just hit 100 subscribers.
Wow. Wait a minute. So he blew up.
We're still a very small channel, just here to have some fun. It's not my prerogative to try to make anyone...
Good for him. And this video, I think, is a month after the last one. Yeah, a month after the last one. So in 1 month's time, or actually one... So when he made that other video, he had less than a... Did he say 100 subscribers?
Oh my goodness.
My main goal with this channel is just to entertain. I mean, 2 weeks ago I had just hit 100 subscribers.
Wow. So he hit 2 weeks prior. He had 100 subscribers. Good for him. Bravo.
We're still a very small channel, just here to have some fun. It's not my prerogative to try to make anyone do anything. I may share why I think player standards are shrinking and video game companies are getting greedier.
What do you mean?
No. I'm a small channel.
I have $100.
Not anymore, you don't. Poof.
But at the end of the day, those are just my opinions. However, I do challenge you to ask yourself one question. If a game developer or publisher has you so wrapped around their finger, they know they can charge you full price for a complete game, not give you a complete game, and then count on you to still defend them against other...
And this is what I'm talking about. I like this guy. I've been saying this for years. Right? I've been on this platform for almost 10 years. Okay? Talking to 10 of you. Okay? But he's saying the exact same thing. This is exactly what's happening. You're paying for half the product up front and then defending the game. And like, you gotta see that you're paying, right? Like, I'll tell you what. How about you subscribe now, right? Subscribe now, give me a membership, and then I'll ban you. And I'll unban you 6 months from now. Like, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. Like, you give money to something and then you don't get the product that you paid for.
Other people who are upset with them. Honestly, ask yourself,
Do you feel in charge?
Now, if your favorite video game company never shows up in one of these videos, I think that's great, and I truly hope they never do. It's a win for the video game industry for everyone when a game releases in a playable state and full of passion from the team that made it.
Payday 3, that's
but if
another
the
one.
idea of
Bye. Love you. That wasn't to you, chat.
someone making a video recommending people be cautious with their pre-orders just absolutely rustles the ever-loving jimmies out of you, then congratulations, because you've officially made your way to the top of video games' most
Was this Bungie launch of Destiny was the starting line. The Anthem expanding world and endgame. 343 calls Halo Infinite the start of the next 10 years.
Then congratulations, because you've officially made your way to the top of video games' most corporatized companies' target demographic list.
Or were you caught off guard by the launch of that game?
We knew.
I love this. I love this. We have people in our chat that do this. Okay? They defend Fallout 76. Well, Todd didn't make it. Bethesda didn't make it. It wasn't Bethesda.
We were going to have a lot of bumps. And that was
Let's listen to the question again.
Off guard by the launch of that
we
game.
knew we were going to have a lot of bumps. And that was a very difficult development on that game to get it where it was. And we were ready for, you know, a lot of those difficulties ended up on the screen.
Everyone else, thanks for letting me respond to those guys. On to the real intro.
He worked on it. The studio worked on Fallout 76, not just the Austin studios.
Pre-ordering video games used to mean reserving your copy at a store. It was an event, and you wanted to make sure they didn't run out before you made your way through the line.
Right, that's what pre-orders was for.
Line of sweat and cosplay. In today's world of infinitely available...
You know what they should call pre-order now? Early investor. That's what pre-order should be. Early investor. It shouldn't be called pre-ordering.
Digital pre-orders. Pre-ordering now means playing it right at release time instead of waiting a couple of hours. Pre-order bonuses.
Give me my pants!
Hello everyone, this is your Kingard speaking, and today we're going over 5 more reminders not to pre-order video games. On the previous video, I noticed 3 recurring types of comments. 1. Tons of encouragement and support, seriously thank you all so much. 2. Shared stories over disappointing releases, my condolences. And then finally, people's answers to this question. Is there a game this year or a developer that you would trust with a pre-order no matter what? Let me know in the comments.
Look at this.
While it was tempting sometimes for me to say, you know what, I agree, I'd bet some pre-order money that X will be good, that dev never misses, instead it inspired me to start off strong in this video with a game release the world was so sure would be good because of trust in its developer. It broke records with 8 million pre-orders and
right.
500 million
Gee, could he be talking about Cyberpunk 2077?
dollars in revenue before we could even play it. By all accounts, Cyberpunk 2077 should have been a slam dunk from CD Projekt Red, a developer recognized at the time for its award-winning, story-driven RPG games.
Giggity!
Although it's easy to say that there are developers out there who know how to put out a good game, let's not worry so much about their next release, I'm sure it'll be good. That was said about CD Projekt Red at one point too.
Just wanted to thank everyone for voting for CD Projekt Red at this year's Steam Awards. Being named Best Developer is truly an honor.
Anticipation for the beautifully detailed, futuristic, open-world RPG that was Cyberpunk 2077 had the gaming world by the huevos. Promises of impactful player choices, unparalleled, character customization,
Penis size. Of course. I mean, the game has everything in it. Best game in the world. Make sure you put the biggest balls possible. Get your penis out there and make sure the balls are there as well, because you're going to be sucking it for the next 3 years until the game's done.
and a living, breathing city to interact with didn't even sound too good to be true at the time if it was coming from CD Projekt Red. The game won so many awards for its presentation alone, promotional material turned into showing off quotes of praise. Before release, you could pre-order the game in its standard edition at $60, which came with some
$60? No way. We gotta go higher.
Exclusive artwork and stickers. Or players could buy the collector's edition for an exclusive steelbook case.
Ooh,
and a
yeah, $250. Talking about.
Collector statue for... Wait a minute. Is that...
That's a lot of money.
$250, the most expensive pre-order edition on our list so far.
That's what you call ironic.
And then launch day came, and Cyberpunk 2077 exploded into the mainstream for reasons people didn't expect.
Great movie. Great movie.
The game was such a disaster of a launch with how many bugs and glitches it had on the PS4 and Xbox One versions. PlayStation...
There's no difference what this game did and what Fallout 76 did. Zero. The only difference is between this game and what Fallout 76 did is that people blindly loved it because they were waiting so long for Cyberpunk all these years from their favorite developer that they didn't care that the game was bad, right? And then they'll defend it. Well, I didn't have any problems. Not taking, like, my next door neighbor gets robbed, but I didn't get robbed. So it's no big deal, right? There are so many problems with this. There's no difference between what this game did and Battlefield 2042 and Fallout 76 and No Man's Sky. There is zero difference. The only difference is 8 million people bought this before it even came out.
Removed it from the PlayStation Store and offered refunds to consumers, while Xbox gave a disclaimer that you might have some issues if you try to play the game. The YouTube well of content was force-fed hours upon hours of footage we couldn't believe came from a full-priced game made by such a renowned developer. Now, if you look past those consoles performance issues, the game also lacked a number of features that were promised.
It's so good now. So good. Yeah, 3 years later.
To be in the game before it
Come on,
came
Big
out,
T.
like intelligent AI.
We've greatly enhanced our crowd and community systems to create the most believable city in any open world game to date.
Did you like that? Look at the very, very bottom.
Create the most believable city
In transparency. Work in progress. Does not represent the final look of the game.
Open world game to date. To create the most believable city in any open world, the most believable city.
Police and morality mechanic. Choices that you made in the story didn't have nearly the effect on the narrative players had anticipated, and the gameplay itself really didn't encourage players to use a variety of strategies in combat. The general consensus from those of us who were able to play the game was that it was fine, but not great. Along with the bad press, investors of CD Projekt Red initiated multiple class action lawsuits.
It was fine, though. It worked on my system. Lawsuits happening, lost revenue, stock tanked, right? But it worked on my system. There's no problems. I don't know what you're talking about, 30. 3 years ago, it was fine.
Claiming the developer had misled them regarding the state of the game. The developer issued both a written and video apology for that state of the game. While I add this written one to our developer wall of shame, look at his face.
This guy, when he did this speech, like, bro. No, you know the difference, Jones? You know why Xbox didn't take it off the store? You know why? Because no one bought it on Xbox. They didn't have to take it off the store because no one was buying it on Xbox. Everyone bought it on PlayStation and PC. They're like, how many people bought it on Xbox? 100? Yeah, it's fine. Just leave it on the store. Just leave it on the store. It's okay.
That is the face of a kid who got caught sticking his hand up a store mannequin's shirt. In all seriousness, good on CD Projekt Red for their response and promising to fix the game, but maybe don't put out unfinished products and charge $250 for them, and maybe...
You gotta remember, this game was originally supposed to come out. It got delayed, and delayed, and delayed, and delayed, right? It was originally only supposed to come out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. That's where it was supposed to be. It was made for that system. And then they announced the other system. They're like, oh, we need to push this back.
You won't be in this position in the first place. But hey, good news. Cyberpunk 2077 DLC comes out this year, and you can pre-order now. I look at this DLC and CD Projekt Red like I look at cruises. When I was 18, I worked as a telemarketer. I made like $7 an hour to get screamed at and
One of the worst jobs you could ever have.
hung up on.
I would rather be a roofer. Because at least being a roofer, the only one beating on you is the sun.
Side note, telemarketers are people too, so if you don't like what they're selling, let them down politely, would ya? As a telemarketer, I sold trip packages that included excursions on a Carnival cruise ship. Right around this time, Carnival had some pretty bad publicity with a couple of its recent voyages. A common response I would naturally get from people on the phone was, "Have you ever had sex?" Well, yes, that too, but specifically about Carnival, they'd ask, why would I want to get on one of their cruise ships? My bosses at the time coached us up to respond with something along the lines of, well, that makes Carnival the safest ships to travel on now. After a disaster like that, there's no way they haven't increased all of their safety protocols and inspections of their ship.
I did roofing as well, 76. When I was like 19, 20 years old. I did it for about 4 days. And it was one of the most brutal jobs that I did. I never fell off the roof, though. So did you hear what he just said? Carnival Cruise Line had a problem, right? We all remember the problem. And he worked for Carnival Cruise Line. And his managers said to coach him to say, well, it's not going to happen again. We just had a bad accident. There's no way statistically it won't happen again. And he's comparing this to the DLC coming out. Now, Phantom Liberty came out, and it was in phenomenal shape. Okay? Still not the full game they promised you back 3 years ago, but the DLC is fantastic, right? And you guys are having a grand old time with it. But the point remains that statistically, it's not going to happen, be a bad thing, but it could.
Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red are the Carnival Cruise Line here. Do you hold off on giving them money because of their recent
Hey, just don't buy day one, which is the whole point of like this whole conversation of don't pre-order games. Don't get into the hype. Wait day one. Wait 1 day, and then you can purchase it if it's good.
disaster? Or are you in the camp that says they won't make the same mistake twice, here's my pre-order money? I can't make that decision for you, but what I do know is that waiting one more day...
Yeah, 1 day. Right? Cyberpunk gets its first discount 8 days after launch. Think about that. Right? When it launched, it was such in bad shape. If you just waited a couple days, you would get a discount. You would save money.
To buy this DLC or a future release to find out if it's good first isn't going to kill you, and could end up saving you some money.
Oh, God. GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. This just keeps getting better.
Before we had Delivery Simulator Online, we had the Grand Theft Auto series. If Cyberpunk...
Is that a real game?
We had Delivery...
Is that a real game, Delivery Simulator? I know it's not online, but is that a real game, Delivery Simulator? That's a real game?
Simulator Online, we had the Grand Theft Auto series. If Cyberpunk didn't convince you that any successful developer or publisher can release a Steam...
So wait a minute, Travis. I have a question. Travis. From earlier in the show, you called somebody a cheapskate because they didn't buy the game at full price, and now you're telling me you got a double pack for $25 on sale. I'm like John Travolta meme where he's got, like, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? Do you see what I'm talking about now, Travis? From what you said earlier in the show, you called someone a cheapskate, and then you just admitted that you bought something cheaper than full price. I'm just saying, man. You gotta think before you type.
Steaming hot pile of disappointment. Let's go back to 2021. GTA Trilogy The Definitive Edition, developed by Grove Street Games and published by Rockstar, was positioned to please both old-school fans of the GTA series and more recent ones. Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas all packaged in one game and remastered to improve on its visuals and gameplay. Rockstar had a track record of incredibly immersive games with colossal sales figures. I mean, GTA 5 was the highest grossing piece of entertainment of all time by 2018, beating out...
Of all time?
5 was the highest grossing piece of entertainment of all time by 2018, somehow beating out the juggernaut Nickelodeon kart racers. Nah, maybe it had better luck the next year. I don't think anything that profitable came out in 2019 anyway. And while Red Dead Redemption...
Wait, what was that? Nothing that profitable came out in 19... Let me see what the background is.
Came out in 2019.
Resident Evil 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Sekiro, Kingdom Hearts, Apex Legends, and Jedi Fallen Order.
19 anyway. And while Red Dead Redemption 2 faced a little bit of criticism for too much realism, nobody can deny Rockstar made a beautiful game with a staggering attention to...
Horse testicles, baby. Red Dead Redemption 2, horse testicles shrink in the cold. Beautiful.
Detail. With Rockstar behind the wheel, updating game...
Is that the way the Definitive Edition looks? Oh my God. That's worse. How is that better? Is that better or worse? Why is everyone tan all of a sudden? What is happening here? My God.
Deny Rockstar made a beautiful game with a staggering attention to detail. With Rockstar behind the wheel, updating games that people already loved, GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition was set to be a victory for pre-orders everywhere. If the responses to the Fallout 76 portion of the last video are any indication, there's gonna be a group of people out there that are probably already halfway through writing a comment that says, Rockstar didn't make this game, it was Grove Street. Okay, well...
Yeah. Publisher, Rockstar, your name's on the box. Your name is on the box. Meaning you're okay with delivering this thing.
While Grove Street may have been the developer, whose name is on the box? Whose website was the game promoted on?
Yeah.
Who marketed this game? Just because we like a publisher's previous games doesn't mean they're devoid of all accountability when their product flops. It was Bethesda CEO Todd Howard on stage at E3 promoting Fallout 76.
Thank you.
See, Todd Howard, using the we word when talking about building the game and the notorious Power Edition.
That we are going to build something really special.
We got the we counter. We.
And we also know that all of you love our special editions. And we have an awesome collector's edition for you.
Are you sure about that?
Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition criticized. Free canvas bags now. Planned update. Do you see the problem with this, though? People didn't have a problem with Fallout 76. They forgot about Fallout 76, all the bugs and glitches, because they were focused on the canvas bags. That's a problem.
So according to the Bethesda stand...
I always love Mr. Rogers with the clown face.
He's lying about Bethesda's involvement in the game, or this is...
What did it say on the
according
thing?
to the Bethesda stands...
Notice, they didn't mention the newest Fallout game. Yet, no shit, bro. They didn't make it. Fallout 76 was not made by BGS. It was made by Battlecry Studios, which is renamed BGS Austin. It's not the BGS that made Morrowind, Oblivion, or Skyrim. It doesn't matter. It's from a company who owns the company now that built a game that sold you a bill of goods that was a pile of shit.
He's lying about Bethesda's involvement in the game, or this is actually his evil twin, Hod Toward, sabotaging his brother's perfect name out of envy. If I can admit the Halo series is laying on its deathbed, you can admit your favorite game company put out a bad game. Miss me with that denial crap. What are we talking about again?
Hold on, I gotta rewind that just because I want to see.
Admit your favorite game company put out a bad game.
Hold on. Fallout 76 was not made. Yeah, okay, so we already read that one. What was the other one? Oh, yeah, but that's the two we read. Okay.
What are we talking about again? Oh, right, Rockstar.
I forgot we were talking about Rockstar. I thought we were talking about Fallout 76 again.
They promoted their game to fans as a publisher, so they also get to be criticized when they release this.
Oh, shit.
User score, 0. 0.6. It's impressive. Most impressive.
Here we go again.
GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition could be pre-ordered at $60. Future Kingard here, I had to go back and insert this article that tries to give 5 reasons why people should have pre-ordered, but I...
Hold on a second. Has that been that
Go
long
back
already?
And insert this article.
That was back in 2000, or I'm sorry, 2021? Jesus, that was 2 years ago when this thing was launched?
That tries to give 5 reasons why people should have pre-ordered, but I think accidentally explains everything wrong with pre-order culture today. The first reason is just simply about trusting Rockstar. One of them is about expecting technical issues out of a modern video game. 2 of them are about instant gratification, and having to be one of the first people to play it, even by minutes. And then the last one is an actual bonus for pre-ordering. Needless to say, this article did not age well, but this guy gets it. This absolute prophet tried to warn...
There's so much wrong with this, and most importantly, never pre-order a game without seeing a gameplay. That Rockstar is not showing gameplay before release is very sus.
Needless to say, this article did not age well, but this guy gets it. This absolute prophet tried to warn everybody and only got 3 likes for his trouble. Here you go, King. You dropped it.
Oh, man. I love it. I feel a little hurt there. I feel like I'm this guy. I feel like this guy that just got the like because he tried to be a profound person to warn people. That's what I am. I'm like a prophet, right? And I try to warn people about things. I feel attacked a little bit. I feel vindicted though, right? Vindicated, I should say. Right? That's nice of him to hit that like button.
Here you go, King. You dropped this. In return for
2 years later, he gets an extra like.
Their undying loyalty to Rockstar, players received 3 remastered games that did deliver on the promise of updated visuals, but also slid in a slew of glitches, crashes, and an art style that a good...
What is wrong with this game? Look at it. That's crazy.
chunk of the GTA fanbase felt was too much of a departure from the original games. Not to mention the release itself was botched, with the PlayStation version accidentally releasing early and the Windows version being unplayable for over a...
That's fine. Who cares? No one really wanted to play the game anyway. It's just gonna sit on the shelf.
day after it was supposed to release.
What can I do anything right?
As far as the art style goes, I mean, it was shown in the trailers, so it's not like Rockstar is being dishonest, but you couldn't see every effect that art style had on the game just from the trailers alone. Some downgrades in technical...
That's fine. You guys see a problem. I see I'm having fun.
Glitches in this game, like others on this list, really have to make you stop and question. Did they even test this before letting people...
No, they didn't test it.
People pay for it? Rockstar, after a response, or should I say a lack of response, did release some patches, but the damage had already been done, shaking player trust and tarnishing the reputation of this remastered trilogy. Thanks for the apology, I guess.
Add it to the board!
Here we go again.
That's an impressive board right now. That's an impressive board. You got No Man's Sky, you got Fallout 76, you got Anthem, you got Cyberpunk, you got Grand Theft Auto. I like this board that he's doing.
It's even rumored that Rockstar might have stopped development on other remasters because of the issues with the GTA trilogy, including a remaster for the first Red Dead Redemption.
I like his editing.
Look what got announced after
Hold on,
remaster for the first Red Dead Redemption. Look what got announced after I recorded this. I'll just leave.
Take-Two says CEO says $50 for Red Dead Redemption port is great value.
Look what got announced after I recorded this. I'll just leave this here. If you crack...
Oh, boy. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Crack open a dictionary and look up, in what dimension, in what universe, in what plane of existence would someone think this is ready for release? You'd see Battlefield 2042. Well, maybe Zeus.
Wait a minute. Was that the graphics on PlayStation 4?
Ready for release? You'd see...
That's the graphics of PlayStation 4 when Battlefield came out? Oh my god. Oh my god, chat. How can anyone defend that? Wow.
See Battlefield 2042. Well, maybe Zeus. Zeus, would you have released this? Well, never mind. With Battlefield 2042, what made the Battlefield series special is what helped drive the hype. Large-scale battles, damage to the map over time, and satisfying gun and vehicle control. The action-packed trailer showed off some new abilities, paid homage to the legendary trick shot, the Rendezvous. It really helped sell the community aspect.
Oh yeah, they really hyped it up. Expectations were up there.
Of the Battlefield player base.
Nice Outlander. Battle Blocks 2042.
Although the previous releases had some...
You know what? I give you a round of applause. That's good. Quick on your feet. Good thinking.
Controversies of their own. Those controversies aside, I mean, we figured EA and DICE, they'd had so many broken launches with Battlefield, surely they learned their lesson, and surely they knew how to release a Battlefield game smoothly, right? This is the third EA game to show up on this list. How do you think it went? Pre-order costs ranged from $60 to $120, depending...
I'm on record. I got receipts. I warned people to not get this game when it launched. And then people bought it, and then they came in and started complaining about it. And I went, no. You don't get to come into my channel, right? After I tell you not to buy something, and then throw it in my face that you bought it, and now you're going to complain about it. No, go complain to someone else.
depending on your console or edition, and the most expensive one came with access to all Year 1 DLC. Who knew that thinking people would keep playing this game throughout just its first year would be generous? Warning signs that the game was busted was present in the beta, but with a lot of players having already paid for the game and only 3 weeks until launch, it was clear launch day was not going to be pretty. Time for a successful Battlefield launch.
Not that one. Not that one. Drink plenty of water.
Game instability that made players crash faster than you could say. Visual and audio glitches that messed with what players were seeing and hearing. I mean, was this Battlefield or Hellblade? Broken gameplay mechanics like shots not registering when hitting.
That's fine. I'm having fun. I'm having fun shooting nobody. I'm having fun. Look at all the fun I'm having.
Broken gameplay mechanics like shots not registering.
Because playing a multiplayer game when you're shooting other people and not able to hit them, that's fucking fun.
When hitting an enemy, in a game where your primary goal is to successfully shoot the enemy, or just spawning in places that were too close to the enemy or put you in a spot you couldn't move from. I wouldn't call EA's response to this an apology, but it was.
Oh, let's read this. You waited patiently to hear from us, and we're addressing the issues with Battlefield 2042 that you would have told us about. We shouldn't have to tell you about anything. You should have known these things ahead of time. And the direction that you can expect to see us take in the months ahead. Today, we're seeing our team's commitment to bring the game up to the highest standards that we all hold for the franchise.
Registering when hitting an enemy, in a game where your primary goal is to successfully shoot the enemy, or just spawning in places that were too close to the enemy or put you in a spot you couldn't move from. I wouldn't call EA's response.
We've heard you. So we're heavily invested and committed to the future of Battlefield 2042, working on taking actions of multiple fronts to address feedback and implement extensive fixes to the game, key features that are important to you, and getting team play where it needs to be. We've had to make some big decisions to ensure our next set of updates can be focused in delivering these improvements, with substantial one being to move the release date for the first season to early summer. The decision gives us time to focus and improve Battlefield 2042. The experience will finalize the development of our seasonal content. Now, what are we, 18 months? 20 months now? I think 20 months after release. Now it's a fun game. Now it should have been, and it still has problems, but now it's where it should have been at launch. But you had to wait 20 months.
Places that were too close to the enemy or put you in a spot you couldn't move from. I wouldn't call EA's response to this an apology, but it was a response. And EA and DICE certainly went out of their way to avoid taking blame where they could. Oh my god, you players' expectations are just so brutal.
Seriously. Are you kidding me?
Blame where they could. Oh my god.
Let us get back from break and get back to work. Love you guys, but these expectations are brutal. Oh, are we talking about? What's our expectations? I have a question. What's our expectations? What's our expectations? A game that you can shoot somebody. The things you want take time to scope, design, and execute. Andy, are you part of Fantastic's development team right now? I don't even know what the... Yeah, imagine taking the scope, the design, and the execution before it fucking launches. I don't know. You know what the best part is? 147 people like that shit. You, 147, maybe one of you guys, hit that like button. You are the problem. He's the problem. You liking that is the problem.
God, you players' expectations are just so brutal. What do you mean you expected a fully functioning game after you paid us $120 for a fully functioning game? Despite hardly containing an apology, it can still go on the apology board. Even with its updates over the following years, Battlefield 2042's reputation will forever go down as the AAA military shooter game that face-planted so hard at release, it saw a lower player count than Farming Simulator 20.
Farming Simulator is a good game. That's a good game.
So hard at release, it saw a lower player count than Farming Simulator 22 and previous entries in its own franchise within only a couple months after release. Look, I can already hear the sound of keyboards clacking for people who are ready to type out, but what's the big deal? Yeah. It got fixed. It didn't have to be fully bug-free.
The point is, the point of this whole video, the point of this whole thing is that the games come out broke, buggy, unfinished, and people pre-order this to wait for it to be finished.
Ready to type out, but what's the big deal? It got fixed. It didn't have to be fully bug-free at launch. Imagine if other industries got away with charging full price for something that didn't function. Concerts could regularly pull a Morgan Wallen and...
Oh, can you imagine? You know what? I think this should happen. Maybe people will wake up.
Price for something that didn't function. Concerts could regularly pull a Morgan Wallen and, depending on where you got your tickets, maybe give you a refund. Movie studios wouldn't even have to bother finishing their editing before putting their movies out in theaters. Hey, sports fans, we know you came to the Super Bowl wanting to see a game, and we're sorry, but we'll have to patch electricity into next season.
That's right.
Stay tuned to the NFL Twitter for our next roadmap. Subject to change.
Oh, God. That's great. Yeah, imagine. Oh, I'm sorry. You paid for the meal, but we only gave you half the meal. You'll have to come back next time. It's a season pass. Oh, you brought your car to get it fixed? We only took the screw out today. You'll have to come back next week for us to actually fix the actual problem.
For the love of God, don't forget to stop by our gift shop. We update it daily. And video games could increase the prices of microtransactions while decreasing the amount of freedom you have to use that microtransaction. Oh, wait. Look, all I'm saying is an industry only gets as bad as consumers tolerate. If we all want the Triple Krabby Supreme, we gotta stop accepting the appetizer.
Run for your lives, everyone! It's the appetizer!
The more times games like Battlefield 2042 release to high pre-order sales figures, the more appetizers.
You like that, though? Here, hold on.
Times games like Battlefield 2042 release to high
Charts Battlefield 2042 pre-order dominates Steam top 10, right? But then afterwards, below sales.
The more times games like Battlefield 2042 release to high pre-order sales figures, the more appetizers we can expect to see launch.
Right.
If you agree and want to help spread the word, consider liking this video so more people will see it. Otherwise, if you're still not sold, don't worry. I still have more
sights to show you.
Marketing for Redfall hooked players with a
oh boy, Redfall. Can't wait. Let's see what he says about this.
Concept that was similar to what had been done before, but still sounded unique enough to stand out. Redfall's first trailer gave us all a glimpse of what Arcane was cooking next.
Then into my shaker, I'm gonna put some
looter shooter.
Then
open world.
Then in here, 2 shots of
vampires.
I hope it doesn't suck.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
That's right. Redfall was set to be the game to let you go full Buffy on a
shit-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till mom finds out, buddy.
So long as you're not on PlayStation, that is. Spoiler alert, any PlayStation gamers who were upset they couldn't play Redfall.
Jones says, do you think that GameStop is to blame for pre-order culture? No, because the industry itself was to pre-order. Pre-order was only to bring people into the store, because the store, maybe in your area, there wasn't 1,000 people that wanted a game, right? So instead of ordering 1,000 to the store, they did pre-orders to be like, who's interested? And they went, oh, okay, well, only 100 people wanted the game. So they would get like 120, and then there would be like walk-ins, and they'd be like, oh, you have a game? They're like, we have to get rid of the 100 first. We might have left over afterwards, come back later. And they're like, okay, cool. Right? That's what it was. Now what it is, it's not GameStop's problem. It was never GameStop's problem. That was GameStop to persuade people to get to the store so you can guarantee your copy. The industry itself set those standards. And now they're setting those standards with giving you the statue or whatever else, you know?
Redfall probably got over it pretty quickly after its launch. Showing off the game's dark aesthetic and wild monster-slaying gameplay, developer Arcane Austin and publisher Bethesda Softworks, both under parent company ZeniMax Media, were considered to be a decently safe bet when it came to their new releases.
When Sire moves us to the new world, we're gonna need names. I would like...
You remember when this game, when they first started promoting it, I was like, what is it? It took them so long to tell you what this game was. And we were like 2 weeks out and we still didn't know what this game was.
My name to be... Lila.
I think my name shall be Thieves. Because although we all do have them, mine are definitely the most prominent.
Me be called Floor because me is lying on floor.
And me, Rocket.
It really is good to have friends.
Between the two Arcane studios, there was a respectable catalog of single-player games and a loyal player base. And plenty of people were still pretending that Bethesda had nothing to do with Fallout.
Oh, he is going to go into it now. That's great.
76. You didn't think I'd miss an opportunity to throw that one in, did you?
I like it.
For
I
the
like it.
non-believers, here's a receipt.
Fallout 76 is a big fall game, not under your personal, like, this team here at Rockville's.
There was a lot of people here involved in it, yeah.
It wasn't just Bethesda Austin with Fallout 76.
It was Austin. The Austin team were they the kind of...
The Austin studio, I mean, the whole studio in Austin's working on it. I think they've done a really incredible job, but there's a lot of people here in Rockville and in Dallas and in Montreal.
That seems like evidence to say it wasn't just Austin.
That was a lot of people.
But all we figured Arcane had to do was take what worked well in their previous games, add multiplayer.
The people that defend 76, well, Maryland didn't do it. It was Austin. Austin did it.
Player to the mix, and they'd have a hit on their hands. Well, it turns out that taking game devs who are passionate about making single-player games, forcing them to grind out a multiplayer live service game they hate making so much they hope it gets canceled, doesn't immediately equate to fat stacks.
You've domesticated them. You've done it. Congratulations.
Jones says, once people didn't have to show up at 12 a.m. anymore, why did they keep pre-ordering? Because they're doing the 3-day early access, or they give you the trophy, or the statue, or the stickers, or the map, or the poster, or whatever else. That's why people keep doing it. It's the 3-day early access, the 5-day early access. Order now, get the beta. Pre-order now, play the beta. Pre-order now, get this. Get 3 days. That's why people do it.
Redfall has a distinction on this list.
A distinction.
It's the first game so far that would be available through a subscription service online.
Right. Redfall was the first game in the subscription model because you didn't have to buy the game, like Starfield, right? Redfall, you didn't have to buy. But yet people still bought the $120 edition.
Launch day, in this case Game Pass, meaning you didn't have to pre-order it or even purchase it at full price to be able to play it on day one. So then why would you include it on this list, Kingard? Because you could still pre-order it for well above the price of the standard.
And all they had to do to not get shit for, Microsoft, all they had to do was say, Redfall, preview program. That's it. Preview program, just like they did for Grounded, just like they did for other games in the past. All they had to do was Redfall, preview program. Okay? Instead, they went incomplete game, $70, $100, and we're fixing it as they, month by month, and we'll see you in a year.
Standard edition. Well, after Redfall had already been in development for 2 years, ZeniMax was acquired by some small-time company, I can't remember their name.
And the dark depths of the ocean.
Now that Microsoft and Xbox owned the parent company for Arcane, Redfall was set to be released on the world's most powerful console, the Xbox Series X, and I guess the Series S. Couple that with an extra year in the oven through a release delay, players had plenty of reasons to expect a solid product at launch.
Ooh. Ooh, dinner time. Oh! Suck it! Oh, God!
The game was a complete mess. The lack of animations, both
I had fun, though. I had fun. Isn't that the whole thing?
in cutscenes and gameplay, made immersion into the world and story almost impossible. Brain-dead and easy-to-exploit enemy AI made the game downright boring to play and missing any challenge. We wanted Sadako, but instead we got Tabitha.
Get up, you little ugly. That's all.
And instead of including the expected 60 frames per second performance mode...
No, they're still fixing it. They're still fixing it. They just did an update last week or something like that.
Redfall only shipped with a max of 30 frames per second. Now, was the switch from 60 FPS to 30 FPS right before launch after racking up pre-order money in the name of Arcane them being disingenuous or just incapable? I have no idea. I'm going to assume the second one since they did announce this before release. Either way, the sticker put on the box of Redfall that talks about the frames per second
Sticker covered it up. It's okay.
It gives us a nice visual representation of AAA games and their failures to include expected features by launch day. Take a look at any gameplay of Redfall for more than 15 seconds and tell me if...
See, it's not bad. If they just came out originally and said it's 30 frames per second. But no, they said it's 60 frames per second. And they went, oh, well, it's not going to be 60 frames per second at launch. Sticker. That's the problem. The problem is not that the game comes out broken, buggy, and unfinished. It's a problem because it comes out broken, buggy, unfinished, and they want $70. They want $100. They want $150. They want $250. Okay? And then they'll fix it over 18 months. That is the problem.
That looks like a $100 video game to you. Who approved this game for release? Was it you, Phil Spencer? We want answers! Wait, Phil Spencer actually did an interview giving a pretty good apology for the state of Redfall?
This game was significantly below our internal metrics in terms of where it actually reviewed. But that's not on anybody but us. Like, we have to own that.
While we appreciate the promise to make the game better, Phil, there's only one problem.
If promises were crackers, my daughter would be fat.
Right. Add to the board!
And Phil also kind of implied that Arcane was lacking vision while they were developing Redfall. While it's not a written apology,
it got slammed for 30 frames per second because they hit it, Travis. They hit it until the last possible second. And the last possible second, the only reason it came out is because someone found out within inside the code that said that it wasn't 60 frames per second. It's because they were doing some shady shit and hiding it and then going, yeah, it's 30 frames per second.
We'll add it with the others. If information from anonymous sources within Arcane Austin is accurate, Redfall seems to be a victim of the tug-of-war that can happen between a game's developer and publisher or parent company during its development cycle. Now, the idea of publisher bad is not a one-size-fits-all philosophy.
No.
Sometimes it's not greed from the publisher or unrealistic deadlines being forced on game devs as to why a game like Redfall...
You're missing the point, Travis. Again, you're missing the point. The point is shady business practices of people hiding stuff and then defending it.
Releases the way it does. I'm not saying those weren't present with Redfall, but according to those anonymous sources, the big problems were ZeniMax wanting Arcane to work on a type of game that they had no experience and no passion to do, leading to a revolving door of staff and creative warfare. Despite the issues behind closed doors, people from Arcane, Arcane Austin, Bethesda, Xbox, Microsoft promoted Redfall as a game that you should spend...
That's right. Did you see how many companies?
Bethesda, Xbox, Microsoft.
I said this when we talked about it. I said it's not just Arcane's fault. It's Bethesda. It's ZeniMax. It's Microsoft. It's all of them. They all knew that it wasn't going to do well because it wasn't finished. And yet they all went up above, and the upper management did this.
Promoted Redfall as a game that you should spend your money on. Players shouldn't have to rely on anonymous interviews after a game's launch to get honesty from people working in the video game industry. I'm not saying disclose every argument you've ever had over the gnomes' hats being green or red at the next E3 conference. I'm just saying don't lie.
And that's the whole point. Right? I like this guy. Okay, I've been saying this for a decade almost now.
Redfall is a story-driven shooter at its heart.
Every inch of our open world is carefully handcrafted and
there's no difference in what they did and what the day before did. There's no difference.
packed with environmental storytelling. Every inch of our open world is carefully handcrafted. Every inch of our open world is
They sell you a bill of goods of what the game should be and what it's going to be. But then it comes out, it's broke, buggy, unfinished. Right? Now, the difference between what Fantastic did and what these companies do is that that's an independent company. And they were shady as fuck. And they try to steal your money. Okay? And they got caught red-handed. But when the big companies do it, it's because it looks good. And they have other games. And they care about you.
carefully handcrafted.
When Bethesda tells us they're delaying Redfall so that we get the best, most polished version of it, and Starfield, it can't look like this when it releases.
Most polished game. Not going to release it. Most polished game for you.
So until the marketing for a video game becomes trustworthy again, I would take all promotional material for an upcoming game with a grain of salt, no matter which studio is the one presenting it. In true Gollum fashion, I honestly debated with myself if I should even include
That's right, they're listening. Oh, Gollum. Gollum is
this
next.
game on this list. So far, every game we've covered has been something that was hotly anticipated, and Gollum was more like a, oh, Jesus, what is that? Is that his character model?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Funny, though, this is exactly what I picture people when they defend a game. This is what they look like.
Model? The hype for Gollum was more like a mildly curious
smoldering fire.
I really couldn't even answer my own question of who was excited for this game. But then it dawned on me.
Hey, look.
I really couldn't even answer my own question of who was
This was me earlier in stream.
Excited for this game. But then it dawned on me that Gollum has something that the other games on this list so far have not. In a list full of AAA studios with high development budgets for the most part, with the exception of No Man's Sky, but it got financial backing from Sony for publishing prior to its release. Gollum is another game to come from a lesser-known company, but without its own daddy warbucks to help out with financing. We can't really blame this one on corporatization, fellas.
Merchandising!
That's right, IP, baby.
Also, this one's for a couple of people in the comments of the last video who didn't like that I was only naming Western companies. CD Projekt Red was Polish, Daedalic is German, so here you go. See, now, it ain't just us gun-toting McDonald's eating freedom-loving Americans, I'll tell you what. Future Editor Kingert here. Of course, after I do that bit, I learned that, depending on your definition, Germany and Poland can be considered Western countries. If I'm still wrong about that even after this correction,
Pokemon.
I'm sorry, but I guess that's why this is a gaming channel, not a world history channel.
I award you no points.
I love it.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
The American school system didn't exactly teach me that between the lessons on Rosa Parks and the Pythagorean theorem. So fine, instead, here's 3 words for you. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
There you go.
There, let's move on.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy that Daedalic Entertainment got the opportunity of a lifetime to develop a game within the universe of the nerd gospel itself, The Lord of the Rings.
I prefer the real.
Lord of the Rings.
I said the real.
Lord of the Rings.
Perfection.
And don't even come at me saying, it's Middle-earth, not Lord of the Rings. I'm a fan too. I understand that Middle-earth is more than just the Lord of the Rings story. But Lord of the Rings is, it's in the title, so...
That's exactly right. The Lord of the Rings is in the title.
When I first saw the announcement trailer, I assumed it would be a story game similar to the likes of maybe something Supermassive would put out, just on a smaller budget. Daedalic said that you would get to make choices as either Gollum or Smeagol, so I figured an emphasis on narrative would be a perfect fit for a Gollum video game. I mean, what else would you do in a Gollum game? Chase bugs? But lo and behold, Daedalic released some gameplay footage that made it clear the game was more of a stealth and platformer game that featured cameos from well-known characters. For those too excited for the opposite of a power fantasy, could pre-order Gollum for $60. If you did, you got some pre-order bonuses called emotes. Or
But I had fun.
For an extra $10, you could get the Precious edition for some artwork and an Elvish language option. I mean, that's neat fan service on the Elvish thing, I'll give them that, but it's locked behind a pre-order paywall, so those brownie points from me go straight down the well of Moria. Well, I hope the emotes in a language most people can't understand were enough to justify purchasing this thing during the hype phase instead of, you know, just playing another Lord of the Rings game until Gollum.
Yeah, there's not enough Lord of the Rings games you could have gone and played. You know what the best part is? A lot of people, when they see a game and it's broke, buggy, unfinished, they paid money for, instead of getting their money back, they put it on the shelf, wait for it to get fixed, and they go play an older game.
Came out.
Business isn't of yours when I do with my own thing.
I am not trying to rob you. I'm trying to help you.
That's good. I like that, right? Pre-order defenders yelling at you, right? I'll do what I want with my money.
I'm not trying to rob you.
That's right.
I'm trying to help you.
I'm trying to help you. Trying to help you. That's what I'm doing, right? That's me, right? You do what you want with your money. I'm just trying to help you.
Gollum released, and players got a buggy, glitchy, broken game eager for its contribution to the game fodder pile.
How many gigs was it? Man, how? I haven't even
crashed
started the
before
game.
you
How did I
started.
already get a crash?
Not only were the technical issues a notable problem, but even when it did work as intended, it didn't take long for people to realize Gollum was just a bad game. A stealth game with busted stealth mechanics, and a platformer with busted collision detection. Not even the Lord of the Rings IP could save this one.
But wait!
There's
more!
Fetch quests, a way too long prison simulation segment, and all around uninteresting level design gave people very little reason to play for more than the first couple of hours. While it's not exactly an earth-shattering event for a bad game to be released, what I think helped propel Gollum into infamy was the timing. This was not long after our previous entry, Redfall, and people were finally looking at all these new botched releases like the gremlin cocoons they were.
Well, they're the Mogwai, I guess. Except for Gizmo.
I like this. This is great.
Mogwai, I guess. Except for Gizmo.
Now, it does hurt my soul to see a lesser-known developer on this list, and even more so the repercussions the negative reception had to their company, but at the end of the day, this is a video about protecting players from having to see another one of these added onto this board.
Right.
The whole point I've been trying to make is that when someone develops a bad product, people shouldn't buy it. And on a large...
And I agree, Kinger. Right? That's exactly what my whole channel's about. Discussing and having conversations and stopping people from buying something that they shouldn't support off the start.
Trying to make is that when someone develops a bad product, people shouldn't buy it. And on a large scale, that's what happened with Gollum and Daedalic. I mean, let's face it, if you took this exact game, didn't attach Lord of the Rings name to it whatsoever, how many people really would have bought it?
Nobody. It would have bombed. Someone would have looked at it and went, it's actually a pretty good game for a small independent studio.
So if there's one thing I think Gollum can contribute to this list, it's that be careful, even your favorite IPs can release some crap products. And boy, mine sure have.
Oh no, my hairless twin got out! Hello, family. Let's eat all the garbage we want.
Now, you might be saying, Kingard, I see all this doom and gloom, but what am I supposed to do with this information? Well, like I said in the intro to the intro, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or how to do it. But if game developers and publishers can count on our money before they even give us a product,
That's right.
regardless of how that product ships, we can't be surprised if this list keeps getting longer.
That's right.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching.
That's a good video. That's a good video. I like his... I might start watching a lot of his other channel stuff. Give that a thumbs up. Already subscribed to him. That is... that was good stuff, man. Look, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, right? Our channel, right, is just about having conversation and bringing up the news and pointing out, regardless if you like a game, love a game, hate a game, okay, you're all welcome here. We can all have a conversation, a civil conversation, okay? And the point is that the games come out broke, buggy, unfinished, and yet people keep buying them day one. Before day one, they pre-order the games. Now, there's people out there that are going to pre-order games. By all means, go ahead and pre-order. But if you pre-order a game, and the game does come out broke, buggy, unfinished, and then you want to complain about it, go to somewhere else to complain about it. Because if I tell you that Skull and Bones is going to be a shit show, and someone buys it for $200 or whatever the pre-order is, And then you come back in here and go, man, it's a bad game. It's a bad game. It'll be good. It'll be good 18 months from now. Okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't. Right? Yeah, he does some really good clips. Right? If you want to have a conversation and you pre-order something, and then you want to have a conversation of going, yeah, it's a bad game, and you know, I should have listened, or I should have done some more research. That to me is admitting that you made a mistake, and then you can have a conversation. But if you don't think you made a mistake and you come in defending blindly defending because you blindly love that title, IP, video game, sequel, remake, whatever it is, okay, you're not looking at it with a clear mind and saying that this game is broke, it'll be fixed 12 months. That's not the answer. The answer is not it's fixed next week. The answer is not it's fixed 2 days from now. The answer should be that the game is finished. Make a game, sell a game. Even live service games are coming across where they don't even have all the stuff that's supposed to be baked into the game from start. Now, if the game comes out and it's flawless and it's not glitchy or buggy, but it's missing content, fine. That's a completely different conversation. But if the game is not working properly, and then the developer has to fix that game for the next 6 months, which then prevents the content from coming out in that live service game. I'm looking at you, Marvel's Avengers. I love Marvel's Avengers. But the studio fucked up royally because they didn't make a game that was working at the start. Then they had to chase the tail, try to fix it, and by the time they fixed it, people were like, I don't want to play this game. It's a broke game. It's a buggy game. It's a shitty game. And by the time you fix it, it's 18 months down the road, and they stop supporting it because you, me, somebody else didn't support it enough with the microtransactions because it's our fault. It's our fault we didn't buy microtransactions to give to your shitty game so it can keep going. I think more game companies, and I mean this, should be like what Fantastic did. Go away of the dodo. If you come out with a game that's broke, buggy, unfinished, then you should not be making games. Hot take. Okay? Because for every person that comes out, there's plenty of studios out there that make a game, sell a game. They take a game, they put it out there, and it's worlds better because it's done and complete. They made a game, they sell a game. Then there's everybody else, okay, that goes, well, we can make half a game. We can fix it over the next 3 years. No. Plenty of games out there that come out finished and they work. And they don't get fixed 18, 24 months later, 36 months later. Wait, so is the case complete at launch? You're not listening. I don't even want to answer the question because you didn't listen. Is the game done when it comes out, Travis? Is the game done when it comes out? Is it working? Does it work? Answer your own question, then you have your answer. You're still not answering your own question. Some would say the DLC means it's done. No. Is the game working at launch? Does it work? Is it broke? Is it buggy? Is it unfinished? I see DLC as addition to fix, not a fix. Congratulations, you answered your question. Is the game broke, buggy, unfinished at launch? A patch is to fix. A DLC is to add content. Someone's gonna be like, well, DLC could be a patch. Downloadable content. DLC is to pay. He's got a couple other videos on his channel. I might have to check it out. When YouTubers promote a broken game. Ooh. We might have to watch that. Not today. I like his style. What's the max price DLC should be? All depends on what the DLC is. All depends on what the DLC is. There is no max price. If you're, I don't know, $40. It all depends on what the DLC is. If you're charging $40 and you do DLC like Undead Nightmare, or if you do DLC where it's like a game mode, that shouldn't be the same price. It all depends what the DLC is. $30 for PC and Xbox, $300 for PlayStation, since they aren't cheapskates. That's right. Yeah, exactly, Rose. It all depends. It all depends. There's no right answer for that. For instance, you paid $50 for DLC for Star Wars 2015. Battlefront 1, when it came out, they charged $50 for DLC. And of course, people took problem with that. They're like, "What are you charging $50 for? For $10 more, you gave us a whole game. For $50, that's another thing with DLC, right? Season passes, battle passes. That's a whole other conversation. I'm not going to start, but you pay up front for the season pass, right? So you might pay $40 for the seasons, right? And then the season 1 comes out. You've already paid full price for season 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You paid up front. And you don't ever go back and play that game, or you come back for 2 seconds. You might play it for 5 hours. You're like, oh, a new season came out. And you paid for it. I don't like that either. If I'm interested in your game, then I'll buy it when it comes out and I can play it. See, now, with the subscription model, with PlayStation Plus, with Game Pass, right? Or Ubisoft Plus, or EA, whatever the fuck it's called, EA Play, right? Now, if you're not paying full price for that game up front, right? Let's say you get the day 1 game. Starfield's coming out, right? Now, Starfield, people didn't buy Starfield day 1, but they wanted to play early. So they got 3 days early access or 5 days early access. I forget what it was. And they paid $30, $31, whatever it was. Okay. Now they got the DLC. They paid for the DLC. Okay. But they also got to play the main game, right? 5 days early. And they didn't pay for the actual main game. They only paid for the DLC that was $30. Right. So now you're more likely, because you're not paying for the full price game up front. You're like, oh, you know what? I'll take that money. And I could technically buy 2 DLCs, or I could buy a microtransaction leading up to the price of that, because you're not paying for the actual game. You know? And that's what happens with the EA Play, Ubisoft Plus, and this and that and this, right? If Ubisoft Plus, you're paying $14.99 to play Avatar, but then you buy the add-on for the season pass, you're like, well, I didn't pay full price for the game, so I'm gonna pay for the season pass instead. I'm thinking about getting the season pass for Fortnite. Never thought I would ever fucking say that. Just with Peter Griffin had a Lego version. The way I look at it is, can you pay for it? I don't even know how Fortnite works, right? But if you put enough time in, you can earn it through, and once you get up to that level, you can then just unlock it, because you pay for the premium, and then you can unlock it because you have enough stars. I don't know how it works. If you pay premium, then you pay for the... I don't know how that works. No. Once you stop paying for Game Pass, I think you lose it. I might be wrong on that. I think if you download the game, you might be able to play it still. I'm not sure. Someone might know better than me. Yeah, it's only $8 for the Battle Pass. All right. That's going to do it for me today. I do appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us. Gave you 3 hours. It's hard. I'll take a page out of Fantastic. It's so hard. So hard doing the stream. Right? Not really. We watched some Kingard, which is the Kingard. Kingerd. His description's down in the his link is in the description down below. Go check out his channel, give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe to his channel. Seems like he makes really good videos. We watched 2 of them today. We also watched Upper Echelon, talking about the day before or 4 days after. And we also talked about the day before as well. Fantastic, what's happening with the studio closing down. So if you like the content that we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until about noon Eastern, 1 o'clock or so. We also are going to be playing video games tonight, where it's more laid back. We talk in chat, but most of you guys are just got me in the background as I'm playing video games myself. We also do a podcast, and we also do uploads as well. I do appreciate you very much. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. And other than that, I appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.